Corky back in England, you know, 2 games this week, another one coming up tomorrow night. How have you assessed pre-season so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, it's good to have a bit of time to settle in with the new manager and see how he wants to do things and see how he wants us to play. And I think slowly everyone's starting to adapt and get used to the different training methods. And I think everyone's really enjoying it so far, which is good. So.
3 games under your belt so far. Do you think any cobwebs have been sufficiently blown away by now?
Yeah, I know a few of the lads felt a bit rusty in the first couple of games, but I think we're starting to get back to match fitness, and like you can just see in the passing we're doing in training, the little drills we're doing, that everyone's just starting to sharpen up now, which is good. I mean, it would take another couple of weeks so everyone's 100% again, but it's good to slowly build up the pre-season like we have been doing, and like I said, the results have been brilliant. We've scored a lot of goals and we've kept clean sheets in all of our games, and hopefully we can keep that throughout the rest of the pre-season, which would be nice.
It is starting to step up now, isn't it? 2 sets of 45 minutes when you were away last week, moved up to 60 this week. Can you feel it's now starting to build up a little bit towards the season starting?
Yeah, it's weird. You only have 6 weeks off, but your fitness does drop a hell of a lot. And I didn't really kick many balls in the pre-season. I just let myself unwind and enjoy the time off. But no, it's weird. You come back a little bit rusty, but you do soon pick it up and you get used to it again. And no, hopefully we'll be back match fit soon. So.
Have you seen a difference in style, both in terms of training and in matches, from this management team to the last?
Yeah, I think every manager has their own different points and different tactics they like to use. But like I said, there's a lot of similarities between the last manager and this one. They both like to play possession football. They like to like I say, press without the ball, and they're both quite sharp on the transition from losing the ball and winning the ball back. So there's a lot of similarities, but the training is different, and it's good to see how like a new style of management. So a lot of the lads can learn from it. So
Ronald and his coaches have both pinpointed the fact that there's been a lot more ball work perhaps than what you were used to. I mean, certainly the footballs were out within 10-20 minutes of the first training session. Is that something you've noticed?
Yeah, definitely. I think we didn't touch a ball for the first week last year, maybe even longer, and it was nice to incorporate the ball with the running and like you say, get back some of the touches and the technical ability a bit sooner than we would have last year maybe. So. As
you mentioned, I mean, the results have been good, haven't they? 11 goals scored, I think, none conceded. I mean, you know, perhaps the games last week were of a lower opposition level than normal, but you know, at this stage of pre-season you take those results, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the friendlies and you just look at them as training, really, fitness and training and just sort of picking up slowly towards the start of the season. I think our aims, we matched all our aims that we wanted to do in those games, and we gave a lot of the younger lads a lot of chance and a lot of playing time in all 3 of those games. And like I said, we scored a lot of goals, we didn't concede any goals, and that's going to give everyone, like the young lads and especially the older lads, a lot of confidence knowing that we'll be strong going into the new season. So.
For you as a group, how was that going away for a week? I mean, 2 new players were with you, a lot of young players, as you said. Is it good for you to all come together for 5 or 6 days and just sort of rebond ahead of the new season? Yeah,
I mean, it's sometimes not nice going away and going away for your family, but I think sometimes you need to do it, especially like I said with the new players. It's nice to be around them like 24/7 and get them settled in. It's a lot easier for them just to settle in when you have to bond with the lads. I mean, after training sometimes you get off early or you go home, but to have them there, and especially with the young lads as well, to have everyone in the same place and they've got to socialise, they've got to talk, and they've got to just discuss different things. And I think it does help the team bond together a lot more than if you were just maybe in England or somewhere near home. So
2 new lads so far, Goldsands Tadić and Graziano Pellè. How are they fitting in, both in terms of being around the place and in the matches?
Yeah, really well. I mean, Goldsands hasn't been in the last couple of days because he had some permit issues, but he seems like a really nice guy, and so does Graziano. So no, I think they'll settle in quite well. They seem like good strong personalities. So no, and especially on the pitch they look strong as well. So no, they'll have no problem settling. I don't think so.
As you said at the start, back to friendly action tomorrow night, and one of your old teams, Bournemouth. Is it a game you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, well, I've played Portsmouth when I was down in the Championship, and I've not managed to play against Bournemouth yet, but I know that it was the last game was quite enjoyable, and I know it's only a friendly, but I know the fans will want to win, won't they? So no, hopefully a lot of fans turn up, and it will be maybe a little bit more than a friendly. It'll be a competitive game, and one that hopefully we'll be looking to get some points from, well, not points, but hopefully get a win from. Yeah. A
relatively brief spell for you right at the start of your career down at Bournemouth, but was it generally a happy time you had down there?
Yeah, I had a really good time down there. Yeah, it was my first loan away, and Kevin Bond was really good with me when I was down there. So no, it was right, Kel.
Well, a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Goldsands Stadium in Bournemouth. It's pre-season action live on YouTube as Saints have travelled 32 miles down the coast to take on Bournemouth of the Championship. 3 friendlies down, 3 to go for Ronald Koeman's side. Wins so far against A.F.C Honesbrook, Sporting Assault and Swindon Town. But tonight will be the bigger test and the first chance for many of you to see how your new look Saints side are set up under the new manager. Dusan Tadić and Graziano Pellè both start for Southampton tonight, whilst Bournemouth hand unofficial debuts to Dan Gosling and Callum Wilson. The teams are almost out. You can just see them over there in the distance preparing to come out of the tunnel. So let me just give you the 2 lineups ahead of kick-off. We'll start with Bournemouth. They line up with Benjamin Bushell in goal. A back 4 from the right of Smith, Cook, Elphick and Daniels. Gosling, McQueen and O'Kane will be their midfield, with Pugh, Kermagant and Wilson up front. For Saints, they line up with Artur Boruc in goal, a back 4 from the right of Clyne, Fonte, Yoshida and Matt Targett, who I know a few of you will be looking forward to see tonight. Ward-Prowse, Davis and Ramírez are the midfield trio, with Tadić, Pellè and Isgrove up front. There are a whole host of substitutes to run through as well. We'll go through them a little bit later on. The team's just taking a little while to come out, but it will give me a chance to talk to our head of media, Jordan Sibley, who's alongside me in the commentators box tonight. And Jordan, a chance for the fans to see a couple of the new players on show tonight.
Thanks, Tom. Absolutely. I think it's, you know what, I think it's going to be a really good evening tonight. It's what pre-season is made of. It's a lovely sunny evening down in Bournemouth. The fans are in good spirits, they're in good noise already, and it's lovely to see some red and white striped shirts behind the goal to our left. And like you say, it's going to be a good chance to see some of the new signings that we've brought in already, and also some of the old faces, but some of the young lads coming through as well. What have you
seen so far of Matt Targett? He's probably the one player, the one youngster in the starting 11 this evening that a lot of fans won't know about.
Absolutely, he's obviously done very well through the youth ranks at the club. I saw him at Swindon firsthand on Monday night and he did very well. I know yourself and Jim in the media team were out in Belgium and saw him over there and were very impressed with him as well. He's obviously going to be looked at with as a replacement for Luke Shaw. It's some quite big shoes to step into, but I think he's got an array of talents that allow him to step into that role.
The one thing I would say is I was out in Belgium with the team last week as well, and he did very well in the first game against A.F.C Honesbrook. It was quite a mild evening. Against Sporting Assault, he was in the 30-degree temperature. He didn't perhaps bomb forward as much as he would have liked. Tonight the temperatures are probably perfect. It's a warm summer's evening, but it's not too hot, and we should see the best of him. Let's talk about Graziano Pellè, because he's a player who's come into the club, a big character off the field and hopefully going to be a big character on it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the thing that struck me down at Swindon on Monday night. It was straight away. He was a massive presence up front. But he's not just that target man. He was quite happy to drop deep. He was quite happy to get in behind players as well. So I think he's going to be a really interesting one to keep an eye on tonight.
Well, as we're approaching 7:45, the players are still in the tunnel. We're just waiting for our referee to give us the nod and say that we're all ready to go. Of course, Graziano Pellè and Dusan Tadić are the 2 new signings. Dusan has come in as well. What have you made of him in the small sort of time that you've seen of him?
I've seen a little bit of him in training so far. Obviously, he wasn't available down at Swindon on Monday. He's only just got his work permit issues sorted. So really looking forward to seeing him tonight. Obviously, he's going to be coming in. People will compare him to Adam Lallana. I think the stats do that job, but I'm really excited by him.
You can just see over in the distance, the 2 teams are coming out of the tunnel away in the opposite stand to us. This game taking place tonight, Friday the 25th of July, 7:45 kick-off, and it's a match that perhaps had a little bit more spice than the pre-season friendlies we've seen so far. Bournemouth and Southampton do have a little bit of history from League One. Of course, fans will argue just how much of a rivalry there is, but tonight you can see that Southampton are lined up in their new blue away kit. The yellow socks are a little bit unusual. We've added them in for tonight's game. Usually the socks would be blue as well. But the atmosphere inside this ground is probably better than we saw up at Swindon, and certainly better than the 2 games we had in Belgium. Just in case you're joining us late, welcome along. You are watching live on YouTube to Bournemouth versus Southampton, a pre-season friendly here at the Goldsands Stadium. I will run you through the 2 teams again, just in case you're joining us late. For Bournemouth, they're lining up with Benjamin Bushell, the Liechtenstein goalkeeper. He's in the net. The back 4 from the right will be Smith, Cook, Elphick and Daniels. Gosling, McQueen and O'Kane will be the midfield. Pugh, Kermagant and Wilson. Callum Wilson, the signing from Coventry, will be up front. Artur Boruc is starting in goal for the first time this pre-season. He's played 45 minutes over in Belgium, but he hasn't featured at all in England yet. Clyne, Fonte, Yoshida and Targett at the back four, Ward-Prowse, Davis, Ramírez at the midfield, and Tadić, Pellè and Isgrove up front. And of course Gaston Ramírez is a player who we're seeing for the first time in this game after his spell out over in the World Cup.
Absolutely, he's come back. By all accounts, he's looked pretty sharp when he's joined up with the squad again. So he'll be looking to get some minutes under his belt tonight.
And we just wait for the formalities to take place down on the pitch below us. Bournemouth will be in their traditional red and black, and Saints will be in their blue navy kit. Now we're going to line up here for what I assume will be a minute's silence. We'll just wait for the stadium announcer's voice to die down and finish the two-team lineups.
Just been told this will be a minute's applause for Bournemouth's former physio John Kirk, who passed away.
Passed away peacefully at Cork Hospital. During a career at Team Cork which spanned 30 years, John worked under a multitude of managers and chaired in various roles and was a much-loved member of the Cherries backroom staff. In his 25th season at AFC Bournemouth, John played an important role during his progress moment of the club, assisting Harry Redknapp and his squad to promotion in Division 2 in 1987. A few months later, John was awarded a testimonial for his loyalty and dedication, which saw Cherries take on Southampton ahead of the club's first season in the second tier. Tonight, we celebrate the life of John upon the referee's whistle with a minute's applause.
Applause there for John Captain Kirk, who was a former physio down here at Bournemouth, who passed away last weekend. That was brought to an end by our referee Andy Davies from Hampshire. He's the man in the middle this evening, and he hasn't ever refereed Southampton actually, but he did referee Bournemouth last season, sending off Elliot Ward in a 2-1 defeat up at Leicester. Bournemouth and Southampton have switched ends, so Bournemouth will attack the home fans in the north stand in the first half. It looks like they're going to be the ones to kick us off. Southampton in their navy blue away kit with Movie spelt prominently across the front will be shooting from right to left in this first half. As we say, we're just waiting for the referee to get things underway, and there we go. Jan Kermorgant kicks us off and goes back to Adam Smith, and immediately a chance for Pellè, Bichelle, who has to act calmly under pressure and play it out to Stephen Cook. The former Brighton man goes over to Mark Pugh, the former Hereford winger on the far side. Nathaniel Clyne gets the ball, tries to ricochet it off Pugh, but it falls to Daniels over on that far side of the field. Chris Temple, who's the radio silent commentator, is sat in front of us. He told me the first rule of commentating was to make sure you start a stopwatch at the start of the game. Naturally, I forgot to do that, but thankfully the big screen over on the far side has told us that we've played 37 seconds and it's 0-0.
Just got to hope there's no power cut now.
The stream would go down for one, and that's not what we want. Here's Charlie Daniels over on the far side for Bournemouth. Mark Pugh holding that right touchline. Intercepted though by Dusan Tadić. Clyne goes in. And Pugh plays it forward. Yoshida just hacks it. Anywhere will do from Yoshida. And he goes back to Benjamin Bushell in goal for Bournemouth. Bournemouth's playing style warranted praise, much like Southampton's last season. They finished 10th in the Championship. A good run of form in the sort of January to March period really boosted Bournemouth's playoff hopes for a little while. It looked like they may get into those playoffs, but home defeat to Sheffield Wednesday, followed by a draw at Yeovil and a draw at Ipswich, meant the Bournemouth's playoffs hopes were ended. Yoshida goes up against Callum Wilson. No real opportunity for him to get into the game yet, the summer signing for Coventry for A.F.C. Bournemouth. But here's Jan Kermigan. The Frenchman can't thread it through to Josh McQueen, and Clyne clears up. Graziano Pellè holds the ball up well. Up against Dan Gosling, the former Newcastle man, and Pellè is fouled. It's going to be a free kick to Southampton on halfway.
I think just straight away there you can see the strength that Pellé's got on the ball. He managed to hold off the Bournemouth player and won himself a free kick.
Jose Fonte over on that far side, playing on the right side of the centre-back pairing, wearing lime green boots. And Kelvin Davis, who's one of, I think, only two players who played in the last game between Southampton and Bournemouth here at Dean Court, a game that Southampton run out 3-1 winners. Gaston Ramírez, tackled by Mark Pugh on the defensive edge of the centre circle. Now Charlie Daniels will skip away from a challenge, and Daniels drives at the Southampton midfield. Kermigan's touch is heavy, and Isgrove will pick it up. Ramírez to Stephen Davis. Now James Ward-Prowse dead on halfway. Looks up for his options, goes back to Jose Fonte. The line boots of Jose Fonte play out to Graziano Pellè, who drops deep to chest the ball down to Gaston Ramírez. Ward-Prowse comes over to Stephen Davis. Now the first chance to see what Matt Targett can do. Targett lifts the ball over the defence, looking for the run of Lloyd Isgrove. The keeper comes out and collects, but a show of intent by Matt Targett to play the ball early. O'Kane goes down the line looking for Callum Wilson. He's got the pace to keep it in, and will get there ahead of Yoshida. Callum Wilson driving towards the right corner of the penalty area, goes towards the byline, plays it across, and from the penalty spot James Ward-Prowse will whack it away. Anywhere will do. Flicked on by Lloyd Isgrove, 0-0. Elphick into O'Kane. Now Steve Cook will play it across pitch to Charlie Daniels. Daniels to Mark Pugh, a player who's been at Bournemouth for a little while now, signed from Hereford in 2010 and has been a constant player in whatever manager has been in charge of Bournemouth. It's Eddie Howe at the moment, and he's been doing relatively well by all accounts. Here comes Gosling for Bournemouth. Mark Pugh over on that left-hand side, up against Nathaniel Clyne. The Bournemouth fans chant Pugh as Pugh wins a corner against Nathaniel Clyne. And Pugh will look to get on with it over on that far side. Bournemouth attacking the north stand as we approach the 3-minute mark. Pugh comes away from Dusan Tadić. Pugh has Gosling in field and finds him. Gosling plays it through, looking for the run of Kermigan, but Yoshida read it well. Only as far as O'Kane. That pass was poor from O'Kane, and now Gaston Ramírez will come forward. O'Kane gets back, puts a foot in, and gives away a throw into Southampton over on that far side. You can see probably about just over 1,000 Southampton fans in the stand away to our left-hand side, the stand that Southampton are attacking in this first half, and they're in good voice. And it's fair to say a fair few number of those Saints fans are wearing the new home shirt. Really good to see. Remember, the away shirt goes on sale on the 8th of August, so if you're waiting to get your hands on the shirt that Southampton are wearing this evening, you have to wait until the 8th of August for that. Kelvin Davis in goal, Artur Boruc in goal, I should say, clears it long up the pitch. Tadić knocks it down, and that's a good run from Ramírez. Pellè will play it back to James Ward-Prowse, and Matt Targett is available. Targett is closed down by Josh McCoy, but comes back in field to James Ward-Prowse. Needs an option as Ward-Prowse goes back to the Japanese international Yoshida. Bournemouth come into this game after beating Dorchester 11-0 on Saturday. Southampton have scored 11 goals in their first 3 pre-season games. Bournemouth only needed 1 game to do it. Dorchester, the opposition, down at the Avenue Stadium last Saturday for them, as Gaston Ramírez picks it up inside the Southampton half. Over on this near side, Matt Targett's made a run, but it comes over to James Ward-Prowse. Can he find Matt Targett? He can, over on this near side. Up against Josh McCoy. Targett's ball towards the back post. I think that's going to go over everyone, indeed it does. And out for a goal kick to Bournemouth, 0-0.
Unlucky there, Saints. Good build-up. James Ward-Prowse spraying the ball out wide to Matt Targett. Beat his man, but just couldn't quite get the ball into the box.
It's going to be Benji Bushell who's going to take this goal kick. Lee Camp currently out injured, probably the main Bournemouth goalkeeper. And the Saints fans like that one because he's cleared it straight out of play for a Southampton throw. Nathaniel Clyne takes it and goes to Jose Fonte, drills it into the Bournemouth half, comfortably cleared away by Charlie Daniels. As far as Yoshida, who comes over to Matt Targett, chested down and then hits the ball for Lloyd Isgrove, looking to get around the back of Adam Smith. Elphick and Smith come across, but Lloyd Isgrove gets there. Does he keep it in? Indeed he does. The linesman says he kept it in. Isgrove's cross hits Smith and goes out for a corner. Good play by Isgrove.
Brilliant play by Isgrove. Didn't give up on it. Caused a bit of confusion at the back from Bournemouth as well, and got himself a corner.
And it's a corner on this near side, which is going to be taken by James Ward-Prowse with his much favoured right foot. He's certainly been practising these corners. We did a little feature on him whilst we were out in Belgium. He's been practising these corners and has become something of a set-piece specialist. We've given him the big build-up. What can he do with it? There's about 3 or 4 Southampton players standing around the penalty spot. Ward-Prowse with the flag kick towards the near post. Yoshida with the free header. It goes across goal and past Isgrove at the far post. Well, that's the best chance of the game so far. Yoshida's header wide, should have done better.
Great chance, completely unmarked there. Great corner from Ward-Prowse, as you predicted. Yoshida just couldn't quite get enough on it, and it's gone flashed across the 6-yard box.
We talk about James Ward-Prowse's set pieces. They really came of age last season. He was always sort of muscled off set pieces by Ricky Lambert, but you fancy that with Ricky out of the frame, Ward-Prowse will suddenly find himself on more set pieces, and he's certainly got the right foot to deliver them.
I think he'll be putting his name forward a lot more this season for those sort of free kicks, corners.
And of course, let's not forget Dusan Tadić has got a great left foot, and he's on the ball now on that far side. Plays it in towards Pellè. Elphick brings him down. Saints fans want a penalty. It's only going to be a throw. I think it would have been a harsh spot kick had it been given.
Pellè's just pointing out there, he had a little shove in the back, but I think the ball hit him straight in the face.
Tadić is going to take this throw in. Plays it to Gaston Ramírez, who looks lively so far, does Ramírez. Plays the ball off of Mark Pugh and out for another Southampton throw in. This one 10 yards from the corner flag. Back to Nathaniel Clyne on that right-hand side. Tries to play it against Kermigan and does, and wins the throw in. Tadić with the throw. Stephen Davis is alive to it. He lets it run across him and then hits a nice ball out to Matt Targett. Well controlled by the 18-year-old left-back. Over to Lloyd Isgrove. Back to Matthew Targett and James Ward-Prowse, who turns away from a challenge and goes back to Yoshida. Put under pressure from Callum Wilson. Has to go all the way back to Arthur Boruc in goal. And Boruc will build from the back again. Fonte needs to get there before Kermigan. Fonte and Kermigan just come together there a little bit. No foul given by the referee, but Kermigan stayed down and Fonte will just play it out. Both players going for the ball. I don't think there was any intent from Fonte to do any damage, but Kermigan stayed down injured. Jan Kermigan, who scored 4 of Bournemouth's 11 goals against Dorchester, he's got to his feet. He's pointing at his shin to the referee as if to say, oh, he's left mark, and he's
thrown an absolute strop. He's just thrown his shin pads onto the ground. And unsurprisingly, the Saints fans behind the goal to our left are giving him plenty of stick for that.
Meanwhile, Jose Fonte just held his arms out as if to say, well, what did I really do wrong there? And Kermigan's gone down again, and Bournemouth give Saints the ball back. A little bit of a temper being shown there by Jan Kermigan. Not in the spirit of a pre-season friendly. James Ward-Prowse has the ball just inside the Southampton half of the field. He's going to cry in a minute. Comes the chant from the Southampton fans as Fonte advances. Plays it to Tadić. Can Clyne keep it in? He can't. And in fact, one of the things that I've noticed of Ronald Koeman's centre-backs is that he does like them to bomb forward. Under Pochettino, we were perhaps used to seeing this full-backs bomb forward, and I think that's still the case. But in numerous games so far, we've seen Fonte, Hooiveld, Yoshida bomb forward and try and get in with the attacks.
And I think that actually suits the centre-backs we have quite well. And I think Koeman's obviously confident with that. You've got players that are sitting in front of the back four. Today you've got Stephen Davis and James Ward-Prowse, and I think that understanding is already there, that when those centre-backs bomb on, they just drop in and fill the gap.
The ball goes back to Buchel in the Bournemouth goal, closed down by Gaston Ramírez, who's had a pretty good start so far, the Uruguayan international. Late to join up with Southampton, of course, after the World Cup. Morgan Schneiderlin due back this week. And Victor Wanyama, who's been away representing Kenya, also due back in with the squad over the coming days. Bournemouth have a free kick which they've taken at the back as Steve Cook comes over to Tommy Elphick. He's the Bournemouth captain for the evening and he'll look up and assess his options. Josh McCoy Comes back to Ewan O'Kane, and O'Kane plays it over the top, looking for the run of Callum Wilson, who scored 22 goals for Coventry last season. He was League One's third top goal scorer, snapped up by Bournemouth. Yet to make an impact in this game. Fonte goes over to Nathaniel Clyne, playing it right back this evening. Fonte picks it up, gets booed by the Bournemouth fans. And Artur Boruc will be asked to clear it from the edge of his own 6-yard box, and he does, towards Lloyd Isgrove, who's not very tall, but does manage to win that header, and he comes out the other side of the challenge with the ball. Plays it back to Matt Targett, wearing number 30, the young left-back, as Yoshida caught late by Wilson. The referee's given a free kick, and I think the referee's just going to give a talking to Callum Wilson here, or maybe even to Jan Kermigan about his strop a few moments ago.
He's still going on. He's been having a little nibble in the referee's ear every time he's been near him since he's come back on, and I think he's just having a little word to say enough's enough.
Yep, a little bit of a word going on between the referee and Jan Kermigan on the edge of the centre circle. You're only here for Southampton, chant the Southampton fans, as Artur Boruc will take this free kick from midway inside the Saints half of the field. A few players warming up over the far side, Jason McCarthy and Jake Flannigan, who of course two other youngsters who have joined up with the first team squad for this pre-season, itching to try and get into Ronald Koeman's plans ahead of the new campaign. Nathaniel Clyne picks the ball up, left-footed pass into Pellè, who's dropped into the hole, holds the ball up well, and then plays it with the outside of his foot over to Matt Targett. Targett into Ramírez, up against Ewan O'Kane, goes round him, might pick the ball up off the challenge and does. Gaston Ramírez into Stephen Davis. Davis looks up for Pellè. Cook has to head it away for Bournemouth, and Daniels will mop up the rest. Plays it forward, looking for Kermigan. It's been picked up by Tadić. Back heel to Ward-Prowse, crossed in towards Isgrove, cleared away by Adam Smith. And out for a throw-in on that far side of the field, which Ward-Prowse looks to get on with. He's instead going to leave it to Dusan Tadić. There's a few lime green boots in the Saints side this evening. We've got Tadić, Ramírez, Clyne and Fonte all wearing lime green boots. Here's the aforementioned Clyne to Gaston Ramírez with a chance to shoot at goal. It's over the crossbar. Did it get a touch on the way?
A few Saints players saying it did, but the referee and the linesman having none of it.
To be fair, it never looked like it was going to trouble Benjamin Bushell, but a good effort and a good intention to shoot. That sometimes in these pre-season matches you go around the build-up. Oh, that's been given away by Bournemouth, and now Stephen Davis will break down the right-hand side. Low ball in towards Pellè, cleared from the edge of the 6-yard box, and Davis will clear it out. And this time a corner has been given, and I've got to say I'm not sure that one was.
No, but again, it just shows Pellé's in the box, causing real trouble for the back four of Bournemouth this evening already. Got his body right in the way there and won himself a corner.
Which is going to be whipped in by Dusan Tadić over on that far side. Tadić just trying to engineer enough space over on that far side to take the corner kick. Holds one hand up in the air, left-footed delivery towards the edge of the penalty area. Ward-Prowse is the target, he knocks it back, and Bushell will catch it on the edge of his 6-yard box. I'm not sure if that was the routine or whether Tadić just mishit that corner, but in the end it was comfortable enough for Bournemouth to deal with. We've just crossed the 14-minute mark here at the Goldsands Stadium in Bournemouth. A very good evening if you're just joining us. It's Bournemouth 0, Southampton 0 in this pre-season friendly. Josh McCoy over to Charlie Daniels and back to the former Brighton defender Steve Cook. Cook will look up and hit a raking crossfield pass over to Adam Smith, who gets around Isgrove a little too easily. Smith brought down by Isgrove, and it's going to be a free kick to Bournemouth. Adam Smith, who was sent off at St Mary's in the 2-0 win for Saints back in the League One days. 2 yellow cards. And Gosling and Elphick take the free kick between them. Gosling, a good signing for Bournemouth from Newcastle, of course, well known for scoring that winner against Liverpool in the Cup game, which ITV famously missed the goal for. He says he's constantly reminded of that. Gosling plays it over to Smith, a chance for him to drift infield, looking for options. Back to Steve Cook, and now Ewan O'Kane, the midfielder. O'Kane over to Charlie Daniels for Bournemouth. Daniels plays a low ball in. Yoshida clears it from inside the penalty area and out for a throw in on that far side. Ewan O'Kane will trot over and throw the ball to Charlie Daniels, who will then take the throw in back to Ewan O'Kane into the centre circle with Tommy Elphick. The skipper for Bournemouth plays it to Dan Gosling. Closed down well by James Ward-Prowse, needs an option does Gosling. Exchanges passes with Pugh, Gosling just overruns it. Fonte gets the ball drilled into him, he didn't really want it, but he clears it over to the far side, where Tadić shows a good touch, and he brings Gaston Ramírez into the game. Ramírez tries to get past O'Kane, the linesman's flagged for a free kick, The Saints fans certainly don't like it. The Saints bench certainly doesn't like it. The free kick's been given over on that far side. 0-0. Steve Cook. Now Tommy Elphick in the Bournemouth defence. 2 Bournemouth new signings playing in this game. 2 Saints new signings playing in this game. One of them's here, Callum Wilson. He's got in behind Maya Yoshida. Callum Wilson to the edge of the penalty area. Plays it across, covered by Fonte, corner Bournemouth.
Arthur Boruc not particularly happy there. It looked a little bit too easy to get in behind Maya Yoshida. Luckily Jose Fonte came across and cleared the ball.
Josh McCoy is going to take this corner for Bournemouth. Adam Smith has come short if he wants it, but I reckon Josh McCoy is going to whip this in as the big men Steve Cook and Tommy Elphick come up from the back. Ball played in. Kermorgant misses the header. It's going to fall as far as Charlie Daniels. He'll hit the shot, blocked by Nathaniel Clyne, which will ricochet up to halfway. Dusan Tadić tries to put his foot in, and in the end it's all the way back to Benji Bichelle in the Bournemouth goal. Wearing all yellow, close it up towards the head of Jan Kermorgant, flicked on by Kermorgant, and then a good challenge comes in, and Boruc just able to stop it going out for a corner kick off Matt Targett. 0-0. Eunan O'Kane exchanges passes with the new signing Dan Gosling. Of course, Saints' new signing Dusan Tadić and Graziano Pellè, both well into the swing of things now, both starting in this match. Adam Smith will take a free kick for Bournemouth. Over to Steve Cook, and he switches play over to Charlie Daniels. 17 minutes gone, 0-0. Ball backheeled down the line. I think Clyne's going to get that, and he does. Fonte. Bit of a lackadaisical pass, but Saints will retain possession, will they? No, it's been won back by Bournemouth. Now Mark Pugh. Pugh has Kermorgant ahead of him, but Pugh will go down that left-hand side. Kermorgant offers him infield. Ward-Prowse trying to take Pugh to the corner flag. A little Cruyff turn from Pugh, and he will win the corner off James Ward-Prowse. Another corner, 2 in quick succession for Bournemouth. 0-0.
Good game this so far. It doesn't come across like the normal pre-season friendly. It's been very competitive. Both sides happy to have a go.
Corner's been taken. And it's out for a goal kick to Southampton. Not a very well worked corner there from Bournemouth, and Artur Boruc, who has probably been the least busy of the 2 keepers so far as we cross the 18-minute mark. But as you say, a friendly that has got a little bit more bite to it than perhaps Saints versus Holmesbrook or something like that.
True, and I think the 1,000 or so Saints fans behind the goal probably helped that. But it's been a very good game so far. I've been impressed.
Here's Gosling, plays it across to Josh McCoy. Bournemouth just coming into the game a little bit as 2 Bournemouth fans stand up, which means we can't see. Smith will take the ball, tries to keep possession, and in the end Isgrove comes across and wins it back, and Isgrove's got space ahead of him if he can get past Eunan O'Kane. Instead he goes for the simple pass infield to Gaston Ramírez. A little bit sloppy from Ramírez, but Clyne does get the ball, and Tadić will instantly look for Stephen Davis. Cleared away by Bournemouth to Mark Pugh on halfway. Now Dan Gosling switches play over to Bournemouth's number 32, Eunan O'Kane. Josh McCoy, who had a spell at Millwall on loan recently. He's joined Eddie Howe up at Bournemouth, but now he's back in the picture. Sorry, joined Eddie Howe up at Burnley, but now back in the picture down here at Bournemouth. Stephen Davis, over to Nathaniel Clyne. Back to Davis on halfway. Matt Targett again looks to make an option just out of your picture on this near side. Pellè plays it down the line. Here's Clyne, played in. Isgrove with the header, and it's 1-0 Southampton. Lloyd Isgrove, certainly not the tallest player on the pitch, has done well to get in front of Adam Smith and head the ball past Benji Bichelle, and that is Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1.
Beautiful goal, well worked by Southampton out wide. Tadić with the ball in. Pellè just pulled up wide, given Isgrove a lot of space in the middle. He still had to time his run and his jump perfectly, and he did that. And his glancing header put it across the keeper into the back of the net.
1-0. Lloyd Isgrove, who spent last season on loan at Peterborough. That is his first goal of pre-season for Southampton. Looks lively, the winger. There's sort of criticisms of perhaps he's got the pace, perhaps the final ball is sometimes a little bit off, but there's no doubt he's got talent. Not known for scoring headers, I've got to say, but Lloyd Isgrove there, getting Southampton off the mark, and they lead against the Cherries 1-0. Looking for an instant reply, an offside flag goes up on this near side. There's going to be a free kick to Southampton midway inside their own half, and that should help liven this game up a little bit, because a goal always helps bring the losing side to life. Maybe we'll see a little bit more from Bournemouth in terms of attack. Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1. Lloyd Isgrove's goal coming on 19 minutes. Boruc with the free kick. Lifts it forward towards Graziano Pellè. Elphick brings Graziano Pellè down, he says, the referee. Andy Davies from Hampshire says that's going to be a free kick, and it's going to be a chance for James Ward-Prowse to whip this one in. You'd fancy it's perhaps a little bit too far out to have a shot, but Ward-Prowse will certainly give this a go. Or does Dusan Tadić fancy it?
I think Prowse will still stake a claim for this one. It's probably 30-35 yards out from goal. Certainly in range for Prowse, and expect him to try and bend it around the two men that Bournemouth have got in the wall.
Well, Dusan Tadić has certainly lined this up. In fact, Prowse is doing a jog away from it, so Tadić raises one arm up in the air. Tadić with the free kick for Southampton. Played towards the back post. Yoshida with the header across goal. Bushell will come up and claim that one pretty comfortably. 1-0 Southampton lead. Bushell looks to get Bournemouth moving. Daniels to Mark Pugh, and again you see the high press from Southampton, and that means that Steve Cook has to whack it out of the Goldsands Stadium. And it's new balls please over on that far side. 1-0 Saints. Clyne will take the throw in for Southampton. The high press game that was so easy on the eye last season is clearly still in effect under Ronald Koeman, as Matt Targett picks the ball up. Isgrove the goal scorer. Comes back to James Ward-Prowse on halfway, and he goes into the centre circle to the Northern Irish captain Stephen Davis. Davis looks up and assesses his option, then finds Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne running towards the corner flag, gets the ball in towards the penalty spot, cleared away by Bournemouth. Gosling will bring it clear for the Cherries. He skips past one challenge, but Tadić clears up nicely, and Fonte plays the ball to Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis has Ramírez square. Ramírez thinks about going to Isgrove, then plays it to Davis. Davis into Pellè, who shoots, saved by Bushell, and Bournemouth will just about do enough to clear it. Great sight of goal for Graziano Pellè, and we'll just hold off looking back at that, because here come Bournemouth. Good challenge by Matt Targett, and he actually wins the throw against Callum Wilson, and that's a good passage of play for Saints there.
A great save as well by Bushell. Pellè put absolutely everything behind that, and luckily he got enough behind it to keep it out of the goal.
And a good challenge there by Matt Targett. We haven't seen defensively really what he's up to in the first 3 matches of pre-season, because the opposition perhaps haven't attacked as much as we'd like, but up against Josh McCoy and Adam Smith on this right-hand side, Matt Targett will certainly have his work cut out this evening, and so far he's coped well. As Tadić picks the ball up just inside the Bournemouth half, nutmegs Charlie Daniels, comes into Stephen Davis. Davis finds Graziano Pellè, who again drops into that hole. That's something that we clearly see that he likes to do. Nathaniel Clyne advances from right back, comes over to Stephen Davis. Gaston Ramírez again offers short. It's nice short intricate passes from Southampton. Clyne keeps the ball. Wilson goes back to Jose Fonte, and Fonte will come over to Gaston Ramírez. Ramírez from inside the centre circle needs an option, finds Stephen Davis in the hole. Isgrove back to Matt Targett, back to Stephen Davis. And Saints will again work it around well. Nice sort of passing by Southampton. Ramírez wants to get Saints going, but Ward-Prowse not able to get onto the end of his pass, and Gosling will play it to Mark Pugh. Pugh up against Nathaniel Clyne, goes back to Tommy Elphick, and Elphick will go all the way back to Benjamin Bushell, who I wonder perhaps could have done a little bit better with the goal, because Isgrove, not the tallest player, got enough power on the header, but the direction didn't seem to be right in the corner. Here is Lloyd Isgrove, the goal scorer, flicks it on with his head. Elphick's got to deal with it down by the corner flag. He plays it against Isgrove and out for a throw into Bournemouth.
Just going back to that goal, I think Isgrove did really well. He actually got across the ball, and I think the keeper's probably expecting him to put it back where it's come from, and instead he just glanced the header into the far corner. Completely wrong-footed, the keeper.
Lloyd Isgrove is the chant from the Southampton fans. Matt Targett thought he was pushed in the back by Kermigan, but it's not been given, and now a foot race between Yoshida and Wilson, which Yoshida wins, but we see Wilson's got pace down this right-hand side for Bournemouth. That's why he scored 22 goals for Coventry last season, and putting Yoshida under a little bit of pressure there. Smith will take the throw in for Bournemouth on this near side. Josh McCoy offers him, goes down the line. Matt Targett shepherds the ball out and plays it out for the throw in down by the corner flag, away to our right-hand side. 25 minutes gone, 1-0 to Southampton. The goal from Lloyd Isgrove 5 minutes ago. O'Kane's ball, Pugh with the header, cleared by Fonte. Bournemouth fans wanted a handball there against Fonte. I'm not sure there's really anything in that. But Charlie Daniels will keep the pressure on that far side. 11 against 11. Daniels against Tadić. Pugh with the ball in towards Kermigan. Header by the Southampton defender, picked up by McCoy, back into the 6-yard box, sliced away by Yoshida, and Ramírez will just bring it clear against Ewan O'Kane, who's playing in that central midfield sort of defensive position for Bournemouth tonight. Gosling looks up, needs an option from McCoy and gets it on this near side. Up against Matt Targett, the 18-year-old. Targett shepherds McCoy away, and then Isgrove puts a foot in, and it's going to be a throw into Bournemouth, just inside the Southampton half of the field. Smith looking for options from the throw in. Bournemouth have a few more pre-season friendlies to think about. They play Swansea here at the Goldsands Stadium this time next week, as Wilson picks the ball up, plays the ball in towards the penalty spot. Fonte with the header away. Yoshida will need to do a clearance as well. Isgrove again wins a header. Not a bad jump for a little lad, Lloyd Isgrove. Ward-Prowse shepherds Gosling away, and Elphick tries to draw the ball into the edge of the penalty area. Stephen Davis reads it well out for a throw-in on this near side. Southampton's next friendly, of course, is next Thursday night against Brighton and Hove Albion. Make sure you're tuned to our Twitter feed for that one. Josh McCoy for Bournemouth drifts infield looking for options, and again Matt Targett does well to shepherd him out. So far keeping Josh McCoy relatively quiet is Matt Targett. Here comes Charlie Daniels. It's Dusan Tadić battling with him. Now Mark Pugh, who's traditionally right-footed and will probably try to get it onto his right foot to cross. Goes back onto his left foot. Feeds it to Daniels. It comes off of Nathaniel Clyne, and in fact it comes out of off the Bournemouth player last, and out for a throw-in on that far side to Southampton. 1-0 they lead. Lloyd Isgrove's header, and a chance for Southampton to build from the back. Nathaniel Clyne exchanges passes with Stephen Davis and lifts it towards the big presence of Graziano Pellè. Wins the first ball, then well, he either got pushed in the back or he handballed it there. The referee hasn't given either, and Saints will actually benefit because Dusan Tadić plays it to Nathaniel Clyne, but they've lost out. Here comes Wilson. Wilson comes over to Josh McCoy. 3 Bournemouth players go for the same ball, and as a result Stephen Davis is able to get the ball out to Dusan Tadić, but it's been given away by Saints, and Charlie Daniels will come forward. Mark Pugh from midway inside the Southampton half of the field plays it into Charlie Daniels, looks to get the return pass to Mark Pugh, but that doesn't quite come off. Charlie Daniels will take the throw in to Ewan O'Kane. Back down the line to Charlie Daniels. Mark Pugh offers on the overlap. Daniels needs a little bit of support and goes back to Mark Pugh. He'll have time to cross towards Wilson, headed away by Fonte, and good clearance because it's found Ramírez. Ramírez finds Stephen Davis, and look at the run being made on the far side from Dusan Tadić, but Ramírez is offered down the inside right channel. The ball was just a little bit too slow and didn't have enough pace on it to get to Dusan Tadić, and Bournemouth will clear away. 29 minutes nearly on the clock as Clyne puts in a foot. Ramírez into Graziano Pellè, dinks ball over the top, and it's headed back by Stephen Kirk, who got a vital touch on that because Ramírez was lurking.
Unlucky, very unlucky. Great ball over the top. Keeper just got there before Ramírez.
Well, this is Gaston Ramírez's first Southampton game of pre-season, joined up with the Saints squad late, of course, after representing Uruguay at the World Cup. And he's looked lively, as has Matt Targett, who plays the ball down the line to Lloyd Isgrove. James Ward-Prowse ever offering Stephen Davis to Matt Targett, and he plays a first-time ball to Jose Fonte. Gaston Ramírez, who seems to be everywhere this evening. He's playing in a 3-man midfield, but sometimes we see him popping up in the defensive edge, and sometimes he's in attack. He's looks hungry for it, as Gaston Ramírez.
I think that's the idea with this system that the manager's chosen to play with this 3 in midfield. It's very fluid. Look at the team sheet. Ramírez is listed as the furthest forward of those 3, but as you said, on occasions it's been Stephen Davis in behind Pellè, or it's been James Ward-Prowse in behind Pellè, and they all have that ability to switch around comfortably and cover for each other.
Nathaniel Clyne's got past Mark Pugh, tries to play it. I'm not quite sure who that ball was aimed for, but either way it didn't fall to a Southampton man, and Bournemouth will clear it. Kermigan holds it up. He's fouled by Yoshida. Bournemouth will have a free kick on the defensive edge of their centre circle. 1-0 to Southampton. Daniels. Mark Pugh, first time ball looking for Wilson, well read by Jose Fonte. Again we see Pellè offering in the hole. Ward-Prowse gets it off Pellè and then gives it back to him. Pellè into James Ward-Prowse, flicks it on to Davis. Davis finds Isgrove. Isgrove back into Stephen Davis. Tries to thread it down the inside left to Ward-Prowse. It comes back to Stephen Davis, and he goes over to Lloyd Isgrove. The goal scorer for Saints comes back infield, and the midfield duo of Davis and Ward-Prowse work it out to Jose Fonte. That was a sloppy pass from Fonte. Perhaps Ward-Prowse will get there, he doesn't. And Kermigan, a little bit slow to turn on it, but throws a nice ball down to Wilson. Fonte's got to be alive, and Boruc in the end comes out and makes a reasonable play, a reasonably comfortable catch, and a few Bournemouth fans thought he stepped outside of his area. The referee says he didn't. 1-0. Ramírez. Yoshida back to the Uruguay international. Now the Northern Irish international plays it over to Matt Targett. Future England international perhaps. Boruc. Yoshida will run it clear. He needs an option. He's got Matt Targett left. Here is Matt Targett. He hits a hopeful ball looking to Pellè. That's not a bad effort. It's come out. Bushell drops it and then catches it at the second attempt. And will look to bring Bournemouth away. A good ball from Matt Targett towards Pellè there.
Great ball, and only just escaped Pelle's feet. I think he's gone to swing for it and just put the keeper off, which has made him drop it.
Bushell just gets in a little bit of trouble and ends up playing it out for a throw into Southampton on that far side, which the Saints fans certainly enjoyed. Here's Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne plays it against Mark Pugh and out for a throw-in. Midway inside the Bournemouth half of the field, 32 minutes gone, 1-0 Southampton. Isgrove the goal scorer. Here's Gaston Ramírez. Sold that pass a little bit short to Fonte, but he managed to get to it. In fact, the linesman says the ball went out of play on that far side, and Bournemouth will have a throw once Pugh can take the ball out from under the stretcher. Southampton, of course, start their season a week later than Bournemouth. Bournemouth kick off their new campaign at Huddersfield on August the 9th. Saints are, of course, at Liverpool on August the 17th. 1:30 kick off that one. Kermigan flicks the ball on. Fonte nods it back to Stephen Davis, who does likewise to Yoshida. And right now it was threatening to happen as Boruc slices that clearance out for a throw. The sun is just setting right in our eyes. It's just sitting above the north stand away to our right hand side, and that will be a problem for about the next 5 or 10 minutes before it goes underneath that stand. Bournemouth have a throw in on the near side, which Adam Smith is going to take. Gosling offers him short and gets it. Here is Smith, sold that pass short, nicked away from him by Ward-Prowse. Pellè looks for options. Clyne's making a run down the right hand side. Tadić picks it up. Ramírez was ahead of him, but he goes out wide right to Nathaniel Clyne, who will drive at Pugh. Clyne back to Gaston Ramírez. He's got Stephen Davis in field. Uses Stephen Davis. Put under pressure from Jan Kermigan. Jose Fonte gets the ball cleared from underneath his feet. Here's Uruguay international Gaston Ramírez. Nathaniel Clyne, ball in towards the edge of the box. Cook clears it for Bournemouth. Clyne picks it up again, threads it down the line to Dusan Tadić. Tadić will go back onto his left foot and then plays it back to Nathaniel Clyne. They need to get the ball into the box, Saints. Tadić up against Kermigan, back into Tadić from Ramírez. Charlie Daniels will shepherd that one away, needs to do something with it, hacks it away and out for a Southampton throw-in, which Sammy Lee, the Southampton first team coach, will catch and roll down the line to Nathaniel Clyne. And he takes the throw in to Gaston Ramírez. Clyne into Stephen Davis. He has options back in the form of Jose Fonte. Fonte plays it back to Yoshida, and he'll go all the way back to the Polish international Boruc, who plays it out to Matt Targett. What are his options? Goes down the line to Lloyd Isgrove, who keeps it in and goes back to Matt Targett. Targett goes back to Boruc, who, no nonsense, just hacks that one long up the field. And there you see some great hold-up play from Graziano Pellè. Here's Gaston Ramírez. Again, just slows the tempo down a little bit.
Tadić screaming for it out on the right then.
He might get it off Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne instead drifts infield. Now here's Davis. That's a good ball if Clyne can get there. He can't get there. It's going to be a goal kick. Nice idea from Stephen Davis, but Clyne not quite able to get on the end of that.
Just a little bit too much on it from Davis, but like you said, great idea.
Here's Ewan O'Kane for Bournemouth. O'Kane plays it over to Adam Smith. Smith nods it down, looking for Josh McCoy, but it's intercepted by Targett, and then the ball goes out of play for a Bournemouth throw on this near side. we will be at half-time, running through the highlights from the 3 pre-season games for Southampton so far. A 4-0 win at AFC Honesbrook, a 6-0 win at Sporting Assault, and of course Monday's 1-0 win up at the county ground against Swindon so far. And we touch wood here, Bournemouth and Southampton haven't conceded in pre-season. Eunan O'Kane plays it through to Jan Kermigan. Kermigan threads it down the line for Callum Wilson. Wilson inside left channel, looks up, held up by Fonte, plays it towards the edge of the box. And James Ward-Prowse certainly controlled that with either his upper arm or his shoulder. The referee waved away Bournemouth's appeals for a penalty, and perhaps they'll look to counter-attack in the opposite direction. Isgrove will bring that down with his right foot, plays it into Stephen Davis. Davis into into Dusan Tadić. Tadić plays it across, it gets to Isgrove. Lloyd Isgrove will run at Adam Smith, comes back instead to Stephen Davis. James Ward-Prowse might hit one, does hit one low. Oh, it's scored by the goalkeeper and he keeps it out. Oh, for a moment there, it was like a Massimo Taibbi moment. It just seemed to slip under his body. And thankfully for Bournemouth, I suppose, he was able to get there and stop it from going in the net.
He saved it, but it was more luck than judgment, I think. Like you said, it's just squirmed underneath him, and as he's rolled backwards, it's caught his leg, which is the only thing that stopped it crossing the line.
Lloyd Isgrove's goal separates the sides, 1-0 to Southampton. James Ward-Prowse, who hasn't scored since his FA Cup goal against Coventry, that was only his 2nd appearance for Saints. Stephen Davis plays it into Dusan Tadić, who, for my money, has now dropped into the hole with Ramírez playing out on the right-hand side. So Pellè, perhaps the lone striker with Tadić.
Lovely ball from Ward-Prowse. Just switched the play beautifully, and Isgrove unlucky not to make more of it.
Throw-in's going to be taken from a little bit further back than Josh McCoy wanted. Adam Smith knocks it into Dan Gosling. The midfielder signed from Newcastle plays it over to Eunan O'Kane for Bournemouth. Here's Charlie Daniels. Down the line to Mark Pugh. Daniels goes on the overlap. Daniels ball in towards the penalty spot. Targett's got to deal with it. Instead, Kermigan holds it up into McCoy. McCoy gets there ahead of Isgrove. Back to Jan Kermigan, headed away by Yoshida for a corner to Bournemouth. And that's got the home fans out of their seats. It's Bournemouth's 3rd corner of the evening. And it's going to be a right-footed outswinger by Josh McCoy. Adam Smith again goes over to offer him the short. Instead it comes to Callum Wilson. McCoy, low ball in. That's going to fall to O'Kane, who hits one. It wasn't going on target, and Graziano Pellè got his big frame in the way and was able to head that out for a throw into Bournemouth on the far side.
Big frame or big fringe?
Mark Pugh will look to take the throw in. He might leave it instead for Charlie Daniels. Battling with Ian Hart is Charlie Daniels for the left back spot in the Bournemouth lineup. He takes the throw to Mark Pugh. Pugh running backwards, shepherded off of it by Ward-Prowse. Back to Tommy Elphick on halfway, the Bournemouth captain. Elphick at walking pace comes over to Dan Gosling. Gosling looks to get Bournemouth moving. Kermigan out to Josh McCoy. He'll run at Matt Targett. McCoy gets the cross in. It's going to loop over Boruc, who punches it away, and there's no Bournemouth player following it up. It might fall to Charlie Daniels, who drills one, tipped away by Boruc. Corner Bournemouth.
Boruc did well twice there. The first one looped up over the top of him. He was scampering back and just got enough on it to turn it away from goal. And again, the second one, the shot came in with some real pace behind it, and he just got enough there to turn it wide for a corner.
Here's Eunan O'Kane for Bournemouth. The corner's worked all the way back to the edge of the centre circle. Dan Gosling has to turn away from Gaston Ramírez. Gosling comes infield. The ball ricochets off of him and out. Well, I was going to say for a goal kick, but actually the referee has pulled it back for a free kick, a foul from Gaston Ramírez on Dan Gosling, and it's going to be a free kick to Bournemouth, and the big men will stay up from the back. They do have big centre halves, Cook and Elphick, as Daniels plays the ball in towards the head of Kermigan. Headed away by Bournemouth, lobbed back into the penalty area. Headed away this time by Graziano Pellè. It might fall to Pugh. He scuffs the shot and goes wide for a goal kick to Bournemouth. 1-0. Remember, Saints next in action next Thursday night against Brighton. Bournemouth, well, they actually have a couple more friendlies. They go down to Portsmouth next Tuesday night before playing Swansea next Friday. They play Oxford on Saturday as well, so they play Friday night and Saturday afternoon. I'm not quite sure how that one's going to work, but no doubt Eddie Howe has got it sorted in his mind as Boruc clears long. There's a Bournemouth player down there, but not able to get anything on it is Graziano Pellè. Comes out for a throw into Bournemouth. Bushell. A little bit of a dodgy moment for Benjamin Bushell just a few moments ago when Ward-Prowse's shot nearly slipped through his grasp. Elphick comes over to Steve Cook. Steve Cook, who played against Southampton for Brighton in the 3-0 defeat at the Amex Stadium a couple of seasons ago. Kermigan tries to play it through to Wilson. McCoy might win the header, he does. Pugh is suddenly infield. We're more used to seeing him on the left-hand side, but there he was in centre field. As a result, it meant Bournemouth had nobody on that left-hand side to play the ball to, and Southampton will bring it clear. Stephen Davis to Gaston Ramírez, and his pass isn't going to be kept in. The linesman belatedly put his flag up. It's going to be a Bournemouth throw-in midway inside the Southampton half. We've got 3.5 minutes until half-time here at the Goldsands Stadium. A sunny summer's evening. It was thundering when we got down here mid-afternoon, but the weather's cleared up as the sun sets above the north stand. Eunan O'Kane goes back to Charlie Daniels. The ball comes off of a Southampton player and out for another Bournemouth throw-in, rather fortunately. Charlie Daniels is going to look for options from this throw-in. Gosling is one of them, but Ward-Prowse is watching him. It does go to Gosling. Now to Charlie Daniels, who skips infield of Dusan Tadić. Eunan O'Kane comes over to Adam Smith on this near side. Lloyd Isgrove puts him under a bit of pressure, and then Ramírez does likewise to O'Kane, but he's still able to hit a good ball over to Mark Pugh. Up against Nathaniel Clyne. Pugh to the byline. Cross hits Clyne. Can he keep it from going from a corner? He does manage to clear it away, and then Dusan Tadić does the rest. Up towards Graziano Pellè. Elphick reads the situation well, but he's gifted the ball straight to Stephen Davis. Lloyd Isgrove was screaming for it. Is Isgrove offside there? He's not going to get the ball anyway.
I think he tucked just back in, but unfortunately doing so, Davis has played the ball to where he was, and he's just played it 5 yards in front of him, unfortunately.
Southampton lead 1-0. Lloyd Isgrove the goal scorer. Here's Steve Cook. Over to Charlie Daniels on that left-hand side for Bournemouth. Muscled off of it by Tadić, and now Pellè will hold things up against Eunan O'Kane. Pellè driving forward, plays it through to Ward-Prowse. It's a little bit too far in front of him, but Ward-Prowse will get there. Targett's offering him back. Here is Matt Targett. Two options outside him. Ward-Prowse is one of them. Needs a little bit of movement. The 19-year-old midfielder will play it to Lloyd Isgrove. Here's Stephen Davis as Saints look to work the ball over to the right-hand side. Nathaniel Clyne comes infield. Looked lively against Swindon, did Nathaniel Clyne. Gaston Ramírez plays it to James Ward-Prowse. Now Matt Targett.
Interesting to note Ronald Koeman's just stood up from the bench, just reminding the players to keep it going. There's only a couple of minutes left until half-time, but he's still shouting at them to keep moving the ball around.
Gaston Ramírez looking for options, plays it towards Graziano Pellè, a little bit too high even for Graziano Pellè to get to. McQueen needs to deal with this, and he does belatedly play it to Charlie Daniels. Fonte puts a foot in against Wilson, but the ball ricochets out of the challenge to a Bournemouth man in the form of Gosling. He plays it to Pugh, and Pugh goes back to Charlie Daniels, who lifts it high into the Bournemouth night sky. Fonte, well, that's not a particularly convincing header, and Wilson will pick it up, and it goes out for a Bournemouth throw-in off of Stephen Davis. Davis certainly didn't like that decision. Bournemouth are going to have a throw-in with 30 seconds left on the watch. We wait to see how much time's going to be added on by the fourth official at the end of this first half. Eunan O'Kane from inside the centre circle, well read by Yoshida. Isgrove, can he run at the Bournemouth defence? Has he got the legs so late in the half? He doesn't, he turns and comes back into James Ward-Prowse. Isgrove. Back to James Ward-Prowse. Gaston Ramírez on the attacking edge of the centre circle, comes over to Nathaniel Clyne. The former Crystal Palace man exchanges passes with Ramírez, now goes down the line to Dusan Tadić. There'll be 1 minute of added time at the end of this half as Ramírez keeps the ball in over on that far side. He's got a run from Clyne and finds Clyne. Clyne's ball into Tadić, back to Clyne, cleared from the edge of the 6-yard box. And the job was well completed by Charlie Daniels. That header is only going to fall to Josh McCoy, but he just gives it straight to James Ward-Prowse. Saints will come again. Matt Targett. exchanges passes with James Ward-Prowse, then goes to the Japanese international Maya Yoshida. Saints just need to keep their foot on the ball and make sure they don't do anything stupid in these closing stages. Here's Tadić to Nathaniel Clyne, back to Stephen Davis. And again, we see Gaston Ramírez suddenly operating in the right back position because Nathaniel Clyne has gone further forward. Well disciplined play from Southampton so late in the half. And the referee decides that's it. And Southampton will go in fairly happy with that, Jordan, because at half-time they lead 1-0.
Yeah, I've been quite impressed with that first half performance. Several things of note, really. Graziano Pellè has been very impressive for me up front. Showcased all his different attributes. He holds the ball up very well. He's very strong. Great movement in and around the box, causing havoc for the Bournemouth defence. Also linked up extremely well with Dusan Tadić, who's looked very lively, whether he's been out on the right or in the hole in the middle. And I think that's the main bonus for us so far in that first half, is that we haven't looked like a team that's still coming to terms with pre-season. It's relatively early in pre-season, but already we're controlling the game.
Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1 is the half-time score. Now let's go back to last week where Southampton took on A.F.C. Hoensbroek. We're going to run through the highlights from Southampton's first 3 pre-season games. And it started with a 4-0 win over in Belgium. Saints kicked off their pre-season campaign on Tuesday evening with a friendly against Dutch side EHC Hoensbroek. It was the return to his native Holland for the Saints manager, who took centre stage with the fans and media before the game. Saints donned their new away kit for the first time and named 2 different 11s to play in each half. Ronald Koeman's first Saints side saw Kelvin Davis starting goal, Callum Chambers, Jose Fonte, Jordan Turnbull and Nathaniel Clyne with the defence. Jack Cork, James Ward-Prowse and Harrison Reed operated the midfield, with Jake Sinclair and Sam McQueen flanking Emmanuel Mayuka up front. There had been little goalmouth action to speak of until Sam McQueen's 12th minute opener. High pressing from first Emmanuel Mayuka and then Callum Chambers rattled the Hoensbroek defence, and the ball fell to Sam McQueen, whose shot deflected past the stranded Hoensbroek keeper. Sam made his first team debut against Sunderland in the FA Cup last season after a 9-month injury layoff. That was the 19-year-old's first senior goal. Another player looking for his first senior goal is Jake Sinclair. He had a great chance to get off the mark in the first half, but blazed his shot high over the bar. Saints were camped in the Hoensbroek half for the majority of the game. Another effort, this time from James Ward-Prowse, went wide. Jack Cork slid the ball into Mayuka, whose classy first-time layoff found Harrison Reed. Good shot and good save from the goalkeeper Tom Gruters. The lively Harry Reid was involved again, beating Hoensbroek's Mark Burl to the ball before teeing up Emmanuel Mayuka. The Zambian international returned the ball to Reid, but his shot was blocked from close range as Saints pushed for the second. Sam McQueen was operating down the right-hand side, and it was his cross that went all the way to Jake Sinclair, whose diving header went narrowly over. From a throw-in, it was Saints' quick passing that tore the Hoensbroek defence apart. 3 academy graduates, Callum Chambers, James Ward-Prowse and Sam McQueen, were all involved. It was the latter who pulled the ball back for Emmanuel Mayuka, whose shot was wayward. In a game that Saints totally dominated, there were few chances to counter-attack, but when they did, they had the pace of Emmanuel Mayuka on their side. He burst forward with real purpose, but once again found Gruters in the way. And Mayuka had an even better chance seconds later, this time played through by McQueen, but the goalkeeper prevailed again. It didn't matter. From the resulting corner, Sam McQueen found the head of Callum Chambers, and it was his turn to net his first senior goal and make it 2-0 to Southampton a minute before half-time. McQueen getting an assist to add to his earlier goal, capping a good half for the youngster. There was nearly time for a copycat third goal, McQueen's corner, Chambers this time heading wide. Ronald Koeman made 11 changes at half-time, with 3 youngsters making their first ever appearance for the senior side. Jason McCarthy, Jake Flannigan and Matt Targett joined the action, as did Paulo Gazzaniga in goal. The defence was Jason McCarthy, Jack Stevens, Jos Hooiveld and Matt Targett. Jake Flannigan, Billy Sharp and Stephen Davis made up the midfield. Lloyd Isgrove, Sam Gallagher and Dusan Tadić making his unofficial Saints debut with the attack. Matt Targett started brightly, whipping an inviting first-time ball into the box. Billy Sharp got his foot on the ball, but guided it over. Targett, wearing 23, curled a delicious ball down the line for Lloyd Isgrove, and the winger's pullback found its way to Stephen Davis, whose first-time effort flew wide. Sam Gallagher was a regular with the first team last season, and he did well to dispossess Hoensbroek's Tom Mass. Saints centre-forward drove forward before teeing up debutant Dusan Tadić, but the Serbian shot across goal. Tadić and Isgrove had swapped wings, and it was the former who was now getting on the end of Matt Targett's through balls. Tadic's looped cross found Stephen Davis, who drove into the box before being brought down. The referee had no hesitation in pointing to the spot, not a lot of doubt about that one, and Billy Sharp took responsibility from the spot. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way to make it 3-0. Moments later it was 4, although you'll have to be quick to see this one. Isgrove's great turn gave him room for the cross, Gallagher with the header hit the post, and the ball ricocheted through a crowded penalty area to Stephen Davis, who hit a blockbuster from outside the box. Slightly better chance of catching it from this angle. The Northern Irishman last netted against Stoke back in February. That time it was a cross. This was most definitely a shot. Davis then turned provider from a corner, crossing in for Gallagher to head goalwards, but saved by the goalkeeper. As Saints pushed for number 5, it was another youngster's turn to have a go. Jake Flannigan is away with the first team for the first time and tried his luck from outside the box, a few yards wide. The final chance of the match fell to Billy Sharp, who got his head on Dusan Tadic's deep free kick, but put the chance across goal. The final score in Holland was AFC Bournemouth 0, Southampton 4. After beating Dutch opposition on Tuesday night, Saints crossed the border into Belgium to take on Sporting Hasselt on Thursday evening. It was the second pre-season fixture for Ronald Koeman's side, and the manager once again chose to name 2 different 11s for each half. Saints started with Kelvin Davis in goal, a back 4 from right to left of Jason McCarthy, Jack Stevens, Jos Hooiveld and Matt Targett. The midfield 3 were Jack Cork, James Ward-Prowse and Stephen Davis. Lloyd Isgrove and Dusan Tadić played on the wings, whilst Graziano Pellè made his first appearance in a Saints shirt up front. Much like Tuesday night, Saints took the game to their opponents early on. Pellè was a constant threat, taking the ball down before setting up James Ward-Prowse. He wriggled enough room to get the shot away, but it was beaten away by Hasselt's goalkeeper Dylan Swinnan. Pellè was looking good and scored after only 5 minutes. Lloyd Isgrove, who spent the latter part of last season on loan at Peterborough, worked space on the left before providing a low centre for Saints' new striker, who tapped home from close range. Saints had taken the lead early on Tuesday night against Hoensbroek, and their debutant made sure they did the same here. Another new signing, Dusan Tadić, played 45 minutes on Tuesday and already looks part of the furniture. He linked up brilliantly with Pellè before the Italian went through on goal. This time the keeper prevailed. Saints number 2, Jason McCarthy, can play at either right back or centre back. This evening it was on the right and he made headway down that side before squaring to Ward-Prowse. Between him, Tadić and Pellè, they worked the ball through to Ward-Prowse again, but the angle was too tight for the 19-year-old to cause any real trouble. A brief water break midway through the first half gave Ronald Koeman the chance to issue instructions, and after a quick drink for both players and supporters, he was back to the game, and Saints picked up where they left off. Tadić with the ball on the right, back-heeled to the advancing Jason McCarthy, and the right-back's first-time cross found Graziano Pellè again in the right place to stab home his and Saints' second of the game. Not a bad opening 32 minutes for Saints centre-forward. Dusan Tadić also played like he had a point to prove. He advanced towards the box before dinking a shot just past the post. Centre-back Jack Stevens fed the ball to Ward-Prowse, who dropped deep and, despite slipping over while shooting, still notched a good attempt on goal. Sporting Hasselt's 2 best chances came within 2 minutes of each other at the end of the first half. First, Kelvin Davis had to be alive to stop Levent Saglum from getting a shot off, and the same player then tried his luck from distance, but this time he was off target. A fresh Saints 11 began the second half, with Ronald Koeman switching the whole team. The new side saw Boruc make his first appearance of pre-season. He was in goal with Chambers, Fonte, Yoshida and Turnbull in defence. Harrison Reed, Jake Flannigan and Billy Sharp were in midfield, with Sam McQueen, Sam Gallagher and Emmanuel Mayuka up front. Saints so nearly started the second half with a bang. Mayuka played the ball through to Sharp, who took it in his stride before shooting low, parried by the goalkeeper. Sam Gallagher was able to keep the move alive, showing strength to win the ball back by the byline, but his square pass didn't find a blue shirt. Jake Flannigan fed the ball down the right side of the box to Sam Gallagher, but he shot straight across goal. Callum Chambers scored his first Saints goal on Tuesday night, and it was his cross that caused havoc in the Hasselt penalty area, the ball eventually finding its way to Harrison Reed, whose shot was blocked. Saints kept the pressure on though, with Harry Reid doing brilliantly to win the ball back on the left and keep it in. His pullback found Sam McQueen, whose shot was blocked and cleared by the Hasselt defence. McQueen wouldn't have too long to wait for his goal though. Just 2 minutes later, Chambers again providing an excellent cross to the far post. McQueen, with the goal gaping, scored his second in as many games and made the score 3-0 to Southampton. McQueen was back at it, trying to work room for the cross on the left. He eventually played the ball in towards Sharp, whose chest back found Jake Flannigan, whose shot was over the crossbar. Saints' fourth goal came in slightly bizarre fashion. Harry Reid's free kick caused yet more panic for the home side, and defender Tom Wirtz got in a tangle with his goalkeeper, and the ball ended up in the net for the own goal. Soon after, Saints made it 5. Wave after wave of attack, yet again Callum Chambers the architect, and Billy Sharp winning a penalty off the hand of Tom Wirtz. Not a particularly good few minutes for the Hasselt centre-half. Sharp scored from the spot on Tuesday, but this kick was left to Emmanuel Mayuka, and he made no mistake to net his first of pre-season. That was 5-0. Saints go to Swindon on Monday night, where they're likely to face tougher opposition. Harry Reid's free kick was only half cleared, and the midfielder got another bite from distance. This one sailed pretty comfortably over the bar. There was time for a 6th goal. Callum Chambers passed into Billy Sharp, who quickly turned and shot. After a couple of deflections, the ball landed at the feet of Sam Gallagher, who struck home his first of pre-season and Saints' final goal of the night. Another good exercise for Ronald Koeman's side, who beat Sporting Hasselt by 6-0. After returning from a week on the continent, Saints were quickly back into action on home soil, travelling to Swindon on Monday night. Over 900 Saints supporters made the trip as well, as Saints stepped up their preparation for the new campaign. Ronald Koeman named a Saints side of Kelvin Davis in goal, Nathaniel Clyne, Jose Fonte, Hooiveld and Matt Targett in defence. Jack Cork, Harrison Reid and James Ward-Prowse made up the midfield, with Sam McQueen, Graziano Pellè and Lloyd Isgrove in attack. On a warm evening in Wiltshire, Saints created by far the better opportunities. Sam McQueen slid the ball into Graziano Pellè, who held off the attentions of Swindon's Yasser Kassim, but the eventual shot was tame. Saints scored 10 goals without conceding in their first 2 pre-season games and were showing the same attacking intent. Nathaniel Clyne took on the fullback before crossing to Pellè, but his header was off target. Graziano Pellè was at the centre of almost all of Saints' early attacks. His layoff was intended for McQueen, but found its way to Nathaniel Clyne, whose shot was well saved by Wes Fodringham in the Swindon goal. 18-year-old left-back Matt Targett has featured in every pre-season match so far, and it was his low cross that found Ward-Prowse. The ball eventually ricocheted to Lloyd Isgrove. The Welsh winger shot wide. Ward-Prowse's corner was flicked on by Graziano Pellè, but Hooiveld couldn't convert at the far post. He'd have better luck after the interval. The half ended on a sour note with Sam McQueen hobbling off. He was replaced by Emmanuel Mayuka at half-time, with Paulo Gazzaniga replacing Kelvin Davis. 6 minutes into the second half, Saints made the breakthrough. Another Ward-Prowse corner provided the danger, and Hooiveld somehow poked the ball by Fodringham and into the net for 1-0. Hooiveld last netted against Bristol City in the Capital One Cup last season. Next it was Pellè and Mayuka who combined down the right, and the cross from the Zambian that was too high for James Ward-Prowse to get any purchase with. A whole host of changes saw 9 Saints players join the action after 60 minutes. Billy Sharp fed the ball onto Sam Gallagher down the right, and his return pass to Sharp was intercepted and narrowly missed the near post. Saints looked dangerous from set pieces, Sinclair on crossing duty this time, and the free kick was only half cleared. It was Sharp who kept the move alive. He worked space down the left before crossing to the back post, where Jake Sinclair's header went wide. Sinclair next combined with Sam Gallagher, the latter showing good awareness to play the ball nicely into the path of Sinclair, but he couldn't quite get his shot away. After scoring last week against Holmesbrook, Callum Chambers tried his luck from range, but couldn't find the target. Probably Saints' best chance of adding a second goal fell to Sam Gallagher. After Mayuka's ball in was worked through by Billy Sharp, Gallagher swung his right boot at the ball, but his shot only found the goalkeeper's gloves. There was one late scare for Saints after Swindon had barely troubled all evening. Suddenly Connor Walden was bearing down on goal, rounded Paulo Gazzaniga, but his pullback only found a Saints man. Saints are now at the halfway point in terms of pre-season matches, 3 gone, 3 to go, and they won this one by a single goal in Swindon. Welcome back, everybody, to the Goldsands Stadium for the second half of Bournemouth against Southampton. There has been one change for Southampton at half-time. Gaston Ramírez has gone off and been replaced by Jack Cork. I'll give you the full Saints lineup and indeed the first full Bournemouth lineup in a few minutes' time. But we're just about ready to get this second half underway. In fact, there's a couple of groundsmen still on the pitch, just forking.
Just taking their time to get out.
The referee's just going to make sure that everyone is happy. Lloyd Isgrove's 20th minute goal separates the two sides here at the Goldsands Stadium in Bournemouth. It's going to be Graziano Pellè, who's looked lively, and Stephen Davis, who kick us off, and a first touch for Jack Cork. Jose Fonte will advance forward into Dusan Tadić, but Charlie Daniels read the ball well, and it goes back to Artur Boruc, the Polish international, in goal. Jack Cork, I'm just looking, it looks like he's going to slot in at the defensive part of the sort of midfield triangle, with Ward-Prowse and Stephen Davis operating in the attacking sections of it. So I'll run you through the full team when the ball next goes out of play, but at the moment Artur Boruc has it on the edge of his 6-yard box. Interesting
just to keep an eye on that midfield three, as we saw in the first half. All three of them rotated around quite a lot, so it'll be interesting to see whether Jack Cork takes a more defensive role or does end up playing slightly further forward.
Back to Artur Boruc from the goal scorer Lloyd Isgrove. Jack Cork didn't really want that ball, I don't think, and Boruc, under pressure, has to just clear it up towards halfway. Pellè will win that header and nods it to James Ward-Prowse. He does likewise to Lloyd Isgrove. Isgrove tackled though, and Bournemouth will look to build from the back in the form of Tommy Elphick. I noticed there's been a change for Bournemouth as well. I think Matt Ritchie has come on for Bournemouth. Indeed he has. I just have to look to see who's come off. They didn't announce that one over the stadium PA, so there has been a change to Bournemouth. And I think it's Callum Wilson who's gone off for the Cherries, so a change for them. Wilson off and Matt Ritchie on. Here's Wilson. Sorry, here's Fonte for Southampton. Fonte just clears it out of play, which gives me a chance to run through the Southampton team. That is Boruc in goal, a back four from the right of Clyne, Fonte, Yoshida and Targett. Ward-Prowse, Davis and Cork now are the midfield, with Tadić, Pellè and Isgrove up front. Here's Steve Cook on the halfway line for Bournemouth. He's part of a defence that includes Smith, Elphick and Daniels. Gosling, McQueen and O'Kane are the midfield. Pugh, Kermorgant and Wilson are up front. It's Benjamin Bushell in goal for the Cherries. Ball out for a throw-in on this near side.
Worth noting that I think this was always the plan with Ramírez, to give him 45 minutes. He and Yoshida obviously haven't had as much game time as the rest of the players. I think I spoke with Koeman before the game, and he was saying that he'd like to get a few of these players through 90 minutes tonight, if it's possible. But the likes of Yoshida, Ramírez, those that haven't had quite as much game time, if they can get 45, 60 minutes, then he'd be happy with that.
Matt Ritchie skips past the challenge of Cork. He'll hit one from distance, it's just wide. Boruc was flying across his goal. I'm not sure he was going to get there if it was on target. And Matt Ritchie having an instant impact on the game, but Saints still lead 1-0. Boruc will take the goal kick for Southampton. Only finds the head of Mark Pugh. Kermorgant flicks on. Fonte clears it from below us. Steve Cook has to go back to his goalkeeper, the Liechtenstein goalkeeper, who's won 6 caps for his country, none of them relatively recently. And Tommy Elphick comes out to Eunan O'Kane on that far side. He's Bournemouth's defensive midfielder, dropping in there because Adam Smith has pushed forward. McQueen drops deep. Now O'Kane put under pressure from Jack Cork, and Elphick has to clear up at the back. Good pressing there from Jack Cork.
So another thing that you've noticed about Koeman's sides so far is that everyone's going to be looking for similarities along how the players are playing now compared to how they were last season. I think that core philosophy of that pressing, attacking football is still here. The formation, although is more of a 4-3-3, is similar, and it allows the team to press far more.
Davis plays it in towards the edge of the box, too far in front of Graziano Pellè. And it'll be bowled out to that far side where Ritchie plays it down the line to Josh McQueen. McQueen turns away from the attentions of Yoshida. And now O'Kane will hit a crossfield pass looking for Mark Pugh. It's inch perfect from O'Kane. Pugh finds Daniels on the overlap. Will he get there? He's not going to. That's a goal kick to Southampton. Good advancing down the left-hand side there from Bournemouth, switching the play from right to left. As we enter the 50th minute of this game, which Saints lead 1-0 thanks to a diving header from Lloyd Isgrove after 20 minutes. If you missed the goal, then highlights of this game will be on the YouTube channel after this match. Pellè nods it down, Cork picks it up. Davis comes over to Clyne. Tadić fortuitously gets the ball back over his feet, off Daniels. Now Jack Cork, who of course spent a spell on loan at Bournemouth earlier in his career. Great skill from Pellè, chips it over the top. Jack Cork's not going to get there, but Shell read the situation well. But nice footwork there from Graziano Pellè.
And again, he's just dropped in deep, picked up the ball in the 10 position really, and just lifted the ball up over the top for Corky, who's just running in behind. Unlucky not to get there before the keeper.
And now here comes Saints again. Isgrove, Pellè. Pellè's going to get that ball. Isgrove goes on the outside of him. Pellè does well to nudge it back, but it's only going to fall to Josh McCoy for Bournemouth. And now Matt Ritchie can bomb forward ahead of him. And McCoy played it forward, looking for Matt Ritchie. Matt Ritchie, instead of running into that space, had tried a different option. And Saints will pick it up at the back. Cork hits a long, hopeful ball, looking for the run of Tadić, but Tadić was coming back from an offside position. And so Bournemouth will regain possession inside their own half. There's only one Jack Cork, sing the Southampton fans. O'Kane exchanges passes with Gosling. Dummy from Ritchie. Here's McCoy. Overlapping run from Smith, but McCoy is held up well by Matt Targett. Good defensive pressing from Matt Targett, the 18-year-old. Here's Gosling. McCoy put under pressure by Isgrove. Cork puts a foot in, wins it against Ritchie. Cork looks for options. James Ward-Prowse is that option. And now here's Jose Fonte for Southampton. Yoshida finds Stephen Davis in acres of space. There seems to be a gap between the Bournemouth defence and the midfield, and it's an area that Saints are exploiting. Here's Isgrove. Isgrove's cross towards Pellè, headed away by Cook, and Ritchie will chest it down for Bournemouth and just, well, whack it high into the Southampton half. Asking a lot of Josh McCoy to chase that one. And Boruc will just bowl it out comfortably. Artur Boruc, who has only played 45 minutes so far against Sporting Assault. That's been his entire pre-season. There is Kelvin Davis on the bench if Saints need a second goalkeeper in this game. Here's Jack Cork. Pellè. Stephen Davis tries to chip it through to James Ward-Prowse. Intercepted though, and Gosling can bring it forward for Bournemouth. Here's McCoy, nice little turn from Josh McCoy, over to Matt Ritchie on the far side. The substitute can run at Matt Targett, cuts in field and hits a crossfield ball. It's too far ahead of Mark Pugh and goes out for a throw in deep inside the Southampton half. Remember, Saints kick off their Premier League campaign in a little over 3 weeks' time when they take on Liverpool at Anfield. Bournemouth kick off in a little over 2 weeks' time when they take on Huddersfield at the John Smith Stadium. Stephen Davis clips the ball over, well headed away by Charlie Daniels. Remember, there are 2 pre-season friendlies left for Southampton, Brighton away next Thursday and Bayer Leverkusen at St Mary's on Saturday, August the 9th. Matt Ritchie comes back to Tommy Elphick. Ewan O'Kane skips away from Ward-Prowse, shows a good turn of pace there. Ewan O'Kane plays it over to Mark Pugh. Mark Pugh prefers his right foot if he can get it onto it. Taking on Nathaniel Clyne, good defensive play by Nathaniel Clyne. Pugh still going, then he's brought down, the referee says play advantage. Ewan O'Kane into Matt Ritchie. Cook back to O'Kane. And O'Kane will look to switch the play. Unfortunately, he's only found the front row of the main stand opposite us. It's going to be a Southampton throw-in, which Matt Targett, who's looked bright in this is probably his longest stint. He played 60 minutes against Swindon on Monday night. He's probably the youngster that everyone's looking at, and he's held up well. We said that tonight he'd be perhaps under a little bit more defensive pressure than he has been in the previous 3 friendlies, as Pellè is swiped to the floor there by Dan Gosling. It's a free kick to Southampton.
Yeah, speaking to some of the other press guys here at half-time tonight, everyone's been very impressed with young Matt Targett. And like you said, he's stepped in very comfortably into Luke Shaw's boots, and he's done very well this evening so far.
James Ward-Prowse works it out to Graziano Pellè. The number 11s up against each other on this near side. Tadić's cross is cleared. Kermorgant will pick it up. It just bobbles off his shin. Jack Cork is able to win the ball back for Southampton. Jose Fonte. Ward-Prowse switches play over to the goal scorer Lloyd Isgrove. Brings it down with his knee and then plays it back to the left back Matt Targett. Ward-Prowse, as usual, offers him an option in the centre circle and hits an inch-perfect ball over to Tadić, who has just about kept that in. I was going to say that looked out, and the linesman has belatedly raised his flag.
Took an absolute age there, and I think Tadić is just pointing out that I'm not quite sure whether that was in or out.
Charlie Daniels will have the throw in for Bournemouth. Their pre-season results so far have been pretty good, Bournemouth. They, of course, beat Dorchester 11-0 last Saturday. They beat Eastleigh 4-0. They drew with FC Copenhagen 2-2, the side that Steve de Ridder now plays for. It was in their trip over to Denmark. They did, however, lose to Poole Town 2-0, but matched that up with a 4-0 win over Hamworthy. Local friendlies for Bournemouth, who still have to play Portsmouth, Swansea and Oxford before their season kicks off on August the 9th. Matt Ritchie lets it go through his legs. Ward-Prowse will pick it up. Yoshida hits a hit and hope ball up towards Graziano Pellè, but that's Benjamin Bichel's ball all day long. And now here's Stephen Cook. Exchanges passes with Charlie Daniels. Pugh is offering him, and Pugh gets it and plays it to Eunan O'Kane. Switches play nicely over to Adam Smith. This is where Matt Targett needs to show what he's capable of defensively. He's shepherding Matt Ritchie away from the ball and forces Matt Ritchie to go all the way back to Tommy Elphick inside his own half. Steve Cook looks up, plays the ball over to Kermorgant. Now here's McCoy. Back inside it goes to Ritchie. Ritchie's ball in, Yoshida heads it away. Gosling loses the ball, and now Stephen Davis can break away. He needs Pellè to get on his bike to his left. He hasn't got an option to his left, so he's looking to his right. Tadić is making the run. Up against Charlie Daniels, here's Dusan Tadić. Low ball in to Stephen Davis. Back to goal. Goes back to Jack Cork. Nathaniel Clyne into Ward-Prowse. He's going to get on the end of his own pass, I think, Ward-Prowse. Steve Cook does well to shepherd him off the ball, and he'll just hack it as far away from danger as possible. And Jose Fonte will just let that bounce out for a throw into Southampton, just inside their own half of the field, and they're going to wait for Nathaniel Clyne to trot back. And Fonte takes the throw into Nathaniel Clyne. Stephen Davis. Targett gets the ball off Yoshida, then gives it back. And Yoshida will hit a ball over to this near side where Nathaniel Clyne won't keep that in.
Just slowed down slightly this game in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and I wouldn't be surprised if the manager makes a couple of changes just to freshen things up.
There are options on the bench tonight. Sam Gallagher, Jake Flannigan, Jack Stevens, Sam McQueen, Billy Sharp, Jason McCarthy, Emmanuel Mayuka and Harrison Reid, who penned a 4-year contract with Southampton earlier today. Here's James Ward-Prowse. Cork just toe pokes it, and between Fonte, Yoshida and Boruc, they're able to clear the ball high into the director's area in front of
Sure enough, it looks like there might be a couple of subs on their way. I think we can see Harrison Reid over on the far side, stripped and ready to come on, and it looks like Sam McQueen and Jos Hooiveld maybe as well.
Well, Harrison Reid is an interesting one. Fans saw glimpses of him last season, of course. He started the Capital One Cup game up at Sunderland. He featured against Manchester City in the Premier League and a couple of other games as well. He's a feisty midfielder, a defensive midfielder really, but he can also play up in the sort of attacking area of the midfield zone as well.
He's also just run back down the tunnel into the change room, so maybe he's forgotten something before he comes on. Speaking to Ronald Koeman about him earlier on, I know he's very highly thought of. The manager said he has the ability to be a great player for this club, and I know he was really pleased to get him tied down to another 4 years.
see what he can do when he does come on. As you say, Sam McQueen and Hooiveld are also stripped and ready to join the action. Here's Stephen Davis. Run made by James Ward-Prowse. It opens up the space for Lloyd Isgrove. He lets it run on to Matt Targett. Targett's ball in towards Pellè. It's going to go over him and over Cook, and Daniels will have to deal with it. Is he going to let it go out? He doesn't. He plays it out for a throw-in, and this is going to be the opportunity for us to see those substitutions.
Here we go. This could be a few of them.
Well, the first one is going to be Sam McQueen, and he's going to come on for Dusan Tadić. So Dusan Tadic's game is up. A good stint from the right winger. And now we're going to see Sam McQueen, who came off just before the interval at Swindon on Monday night. Took a little bit of a knock to his leg, but luckily it's nothing serious. Hooiveld has come on for Yoshida. And we're going to see Harrison Reed join the action as well. And he's coming on for Stephen Davis. So 3 changes named by Ronald Koeman. And they're going to join the action with Saints having a throw in an attacking position over on this near side. Sam McQueen's first job is going to be to play the ball back in. Graziano Pellè offs him short, and the free kick has gone Bournemouth's way against Graziano Pellè. Couldn't see an awful lot wrong with that. But the Cherries will have the free kick. Steve Cook goes back to Benji Bushell. Looks a little bit nervous in the Bournemouth goal, I have to say. Perhaps could have done a little bit better with Lloyd Isgrove's 20th minute header, which currently separates the two sides. He also had a little bit of a mare in the first half with a James Ward-Prowse shot that nearly squirmed out of his grasp. Dan Gosling put under pressure by Harry Reid. Kermagant. Daniels plays it into Mark Pugh. He's definitely playing a little bit more centrally in this second half. O'Kane looks for the run from fullback from Adam Smith. Smith busting a gut to get ahead of Isgrove, and Isgrove shows great strength to muscle Smith off of it and concede the throw.
Did very well there, Isgrove. I thought for a split second that the Bournemouth winger got the best of him.
O'Kane goes down the line looking for Ritchie. Matt Ritchie wearing number 30, as is Matt Targett. Targett shepherds him out, and Targett gives away the throw in, but a good challenge, not giving Ritchie the time to get the cross in. It's going to be a Bournemouth throw in over on that far side. O'Kane offers Adam Smith. O'Kane gets it back from Smith, plays it in towards Ritchie. Targett does well to clear it away. It falls to Mark Pugh. Pugh goes through the legs of Jack Cork. It's still in Bournemouth possession here. Ritchie over on that far side of the field. Matt Ritchie's ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Fonte just has a good look around and makes sure that there's no one coming in at the far post, and there isn't, and it's a goal kick, and that was probably good defending from the Portuguese. Boruc is going to have the goal kick. Talk about Sam McQueen, who's just joined the action there. He spent 9 months on the sidelines for Southampton's development squad. He rejoined the action in March, I think, of this year, having spent 9 months out with a rather nasty leg injury. Harrison Reid flicks it on, looking for the run of McQueen. McQueen scored twice, and he's putting Bushell under a little bit of pressure there. And Bournemouth managed to work that away. Daniels to Pugh. I was about to say McQueen scored twice in the opening 2 pre-season games. He scored against Holmesbrook and he scored against Assault. The Holmesbrook one was a rather lucky deflection, but the Assault one was a good header from the edge of the 6-yard box. Here's Jan Kermagant for Bournemouth. Daniels back to Cook. Harry Reid
living slightly dangerously at the back, Bournemouth at the moment, playing it around on the edge of the area, and it just get the impression that Saints are going to take advantage of that.
Well, you see the high press game again from Southampton, not giving Bournemouth a second on the ball. Here's Tommy Elphick, the skipper.
I think those substitutions that's just been made are helping that as well. I think the legs were starting to get a little bit tired before that hour mark, but I think these obviously got Jack Cork now on, Harrison Reid on, Sam McQueen on as well, all quite happy to run at the Bournemouth defenders. Southampton
fans were in good voice as well, about 1,200 of them, and they certainly like Artur Boruc. I don't say an Artur Boruc chant is going to start in a minute. Pellè flicks it on towards Isgrove. Good header back from Smith. Will Isgrove get there? Bushell comes out and gets the ball quite comfortably on the edge of his box. There it is. Dan Gosling shepherded back towards his own goal and needs to get the ball to Matt Ritchie. Ritchie goes all the way back to Benjamin Bichelle. I've got to admit, I'm not quite sure what the situation is with Bournemouth goalkeepers, but they have Lee Camp, the former Derby keeper, on their books. So Darrell Flahaven, but I believe he's gone out on loan to Oxford. They haven't actually got a substitute goalkeeper on the bench tonight, so if anything were to happen to Bichelle, then there'd be problems. Free kick's been awarded to Bournemouth. Gosling. Cook onto Charlie Daniels, up against Sam McQueen. Kermorgan drops deep. That's a pretty poor pass from Jan Kermorgan. Pellè picks it up. Pellè flicks the ball over to Sam McQueen. Climbs on his overlap. But McQueen's going to go out alone. McQueen, just had the ball taken off of him by Mark Pugh, the retreating Mark Pugh.
Great
Kermorgan.
tackle that. Took it right off his foot just as he was about to pull the trigger.
And whilst we're talking about good tackles, that certainly wasn't one of them. Jack Cork brings down Jan Kermorgan. It is just going to be a talking to by Andy Davies, the referee. Cork just checks with Jan Kermorgan, who was on the receiving end of a tough Jose Fonte tackle within the first few minutes of this pre-season friendly. Didn't like that one. He's a bit quicker to get to his feet for this one. Daniels and Pugh exchange passes. Daniels is frustrated that he didn't get on the end of that one. It's going to be a throw into Southampton. Clyne throws it into Jack Cork. Here's Jos Hooiveld, who scored the winner up at Swindon on Monday night. He launches the ball forward, looking for the run of Isgrove. Isgrove lets it bounce over his head. In fact, he's won a free kick there. He was just nudged off of it by Adam Smith, and it's going to be a free kick to Southampton and a chance for James Ward-Prowse to whip this one in. You'd say he's probably the only free kick taker on the pitch now, with Dusan Tadić being substituted. And this will certainly suit his right foot.
Plenty of height in the box as well. Pellè, Hooiveld, Fonte all come up for this one.
So there's going to be a chance for Ward-Prowse to whip this in. There's a one-man wall in the form of Matt Ritchie. Here comes Ward-Prowse towards the back post. Cork can't get there. A little bit too deep from James Ward-Prowse there. It'll be a goal kick to Bournemouth, 1-0.
Bit too much on that. There was plenty of bodies in the middle of the area and just crept to the back. Jack Cork did his best to try and keep it in, but unfortunately, talking of all the height in the box, it went to one of the shorter players.
Yeah, Jack Cork doesn't score many. He did score in a pre-season friendly just after he joined the club, actually, at the beginning of the Championship promotion season. He scored in a pre-season friendly against West Brom. He said in an interview after that game that he's not known for scoring goals, and he hoped that that would be the start of good things. He hasn't scored since. Jos Hooiveld. Matt Targett. Jose Fonte will stride forward. Wants to hit it towards Graziano Pellè. It's going to go over Pellè. He's definitely having his shirt pulled there. The Bournemouth defence manages to get it back to Benji Bichelle. Nathaniel Clyne reads that one really well. Clyne can now drive at the defence. He's got Pellè ahead of him. He's got McQueen outside him. Didn't really know what to do with the ball there, Clyne. Here's McQueen. Skips past two Bournemouth players, then plays a great cross in towards the far post. Bournemouth just about managed to get it clear. Jack Cork tries to toe poke it to Matt Targett, but that one didn't really work. Now Jan Kermorgan can bring it over to Matt Ritchie. Ritchie plays it against the Southampton player and it ricochets to Matt Targett. Here's the Dutch centre-half Jos Hooiveld. Sam McQueen just operating it right back for a second whilst Nathaniel Clyne is up the field. Boruc with the clearance. He's asked a lot of McQueen there, but McQueen wins the header really well. Nice flick from Clyne. Here's Harrison Reed. Clyne goes on the overlap up against Steve Cook. Clyne needs an option, keeps the ball in. Clyne goes back to the ginger-haired Harry Reid. Reid's ball in, cleared away by Ritchie. It's going to come to Mark Pugh. Pugh does well to just avert the danger. Plays it to Gosling. Jan Kermorgan. Well, that was asking an awful lot of Matt Ritchie to get on the end of that. And Matt Targett clears up. Here's Harry Reid. Lloyd Isgrove.
Cracking atmosphere tonight, to be honest with you. It's only a pre-season friendly, but you wouldn't know. Both sets of fans really giving it everything.
I reckon there's probably about 7,500 inside the ground. The Saints have brought a little over 1,000. There's a little bit of defending needs to be done by Stephen Cook. With Shell, a few little keepy ups. A little bit of an eccentric goalkeeper is Benji Bichelle. Matt Ritchie. As Adam Smith gets the ball lost under his foot, but manages to pick it up. It's back to the aforementioned Bichelle. The Liechtenstein goalkeeper clears up towards halfway. Jos Hooiveld is adjudged to have penalised Jan Kermigan, and Bournemouth will get on with this. Here's McCoy, plays in. Fonte will clear that out for a corner. Didn't really know where that one was going, Jose Fonte. And suddenly Bournemouth have a set piece.
Looks like Bournemouth are about to make a whole host of changes.
They are indeed. They did this at Dorchester on Saturday as well, actually. They made a whole host of changes midway through the second half. So let's see who's coming on. Harriata, Junior Stanislas, the summer signing from Burnley, is going to come on. So is Sam Matthews, I think, the youngster. Just look to see how Bournemouth are going to line up. Just a few words still being had down on the bench. Whilst all this is going on, Bournemouth have a corner over on this left-hand side in front of those vocal Saints fans you can hear away to our left-hand side. We've played just over 71 minutes here at the Goldsands Stadium. It's Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1. Bailey Cargill, the development squad defender for Bournemouth, lurks around the penalty spot. This one's played out all the way to Ewan O'Kane. O'Kane picks it up, plays it to Harriata. Now it's back over on that right-hand side. The ball comes in. It's collected well by Boruc, and Bailey Cargill, the development squad defender, was doing well there to get Bournemouth on the attack. Here comes Sam McQueen. McQueen looks like he might be running down a blind alley. He needs to win something here. He holds the ball up really well, and then unfortunately the ball comes off of Sam McQueen and out for a Bournemouth throw-in. It's a first chance for the Dean Court crowd to see Junior Stanislas in action, signed from Burnley. Of course, Eddie Howe was manager up at Burnley when Stanislas was there for his first stint. He's now rejoined up with his old manager down here on the south coast. Brett Pittman, he's joined the action, chests it down to Stanislas. Arter, toe poked away by Isgrove. Hooiveld needs to be alert. Stanislas is going to close down Boruc. Cool as you like, Arter Boruc. Goes to James Ward-Prowse. Hooiveld lifts it forward. Elphick has given that away to Jack Cork, and he can run at the Bournemouth defence. He might hit one from distance. And we talked about how Jack Cork hasn't scored in a few years. That is probably why.
I'll be very kind to Cork it out. I think it bobbled up just as he was about to hit it. I'll let him have that.
He has come close to scoring. He hit the woodwork up at Hull last season. Had a few efforts at St Mary's as well that weren't that far away from going in. But not able to find the target with that effort from distance there, Jack Cork. Looks like we're going to see Emmanuel Mayuka join the action in a moment, and Sam Gallagher. All that action going on the bench just opposite us. You can just see it in your picture there. And there's a Saints player down, and I think it's... who is it down?
Looks like it might be Pellè. No, it's not. Ignore me.
Let's wait for the referee. I think it's Lloyd Isgrove who's down.
They look similar. That's my excuse. Not at all.
Isgrove's 5'7". Pellé's about 6'8". And thankfully Lloyd Isgrove has got up and seems to be okay. Spent the latter end of last season on loan at Peterborough. By all accounts did very well there. Their fans gave rave reviews of Lloyd Isgrove last season. And he scored the only goal of the game. Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1. As we tick into the 74th minute here at the Goldsands Stadium. Graziano Pellè will just throw the ball back to the Bournemouth skipper, Tommy Elphick. The first real touch of note for Bailey Cargill for Bournemouth. Dan Gosling plays it back to him. Pittman's the target. On his second stint down here at Bournemouth, Brett Pittman went to Bristol City very briefly when they were in the Championship. Didn't really work out for him there, and he's now back on the south coast. Harry Reid hits a searching ball over to Lloyd Isgrove. Isgrove brings it down and goes back to Jack Cork. Seems to be all right now, Lloyd Isgrove, after picking up that knock. Hooiveld lifts it towards Graziano Pellè. Stanislas will get there before Harrison Reid, but Reid will win the second ball. Stanislas, though, pokes it through the legs of Cork. Stanislas driving into the Southampton half of the field, threads it through to Pittman. Clyne reads it well. A suspicion of offside there against one of either Pittman or Harry Arter. And we're now about to see a second bout of Saints changes. The first one's going to be, who's it going to be? They've put up number 19, which is Graziano Pellè. And it looks like it's going to be Sam Gallagher who's going to come on. So Pellè off and Sam Gallagher on. Number 16, James Ward-Prowse, is going to come off and be replaced by number 15, Jack Stevens. Jack Stevens, traditionally a defender, but did play in midfield up at Swindon on Monday night. And number 27, Lloyd Isgrove, is going to be replaced by Emmanuel Mayuka. So 3 more changes to add to the list.
Good run-outs again there for Prowse, Isgrove, and obviously Pellè as well, building up that fitness, 75 minutes. Wouldn't be surprised to see them make 90 against Brighton next Thursday.
Eunan O'Kane lifts it over the top. Jose Fonte is going to come across, just shepherd that one out of play. It's going to be a goal kick to Southampton. So if you are just joining us, let me just try and give you the team. Boruc is in goal. It's then Clyne, Fonte, Hooiveld, Targett. Then you've got Stevens, Reid and Cork in midfield with McQueen, Gallagher and Emmanuel Mayuka up top. And it looks like Gallagher's going to be the centre of those two, as Elphick has some defending to do. Plays it safe, out for a throw into Southampton. Matt Targett. Looks like he's going to get the full 90, Matt Targett. Exchanges passes with Jack Stevens, the former Plymouth man. Now Jose Fonte inside his own half. Here's Nathaniel Clyne. McQueen just muscled off of it. Arter. Gallagher's going to pick that one up. First touch just invites Cargill in to come and take the ball off of him. Ritchie chests it down. Here's Dan Gosling. Had a good game for Bournemouth, Dan Gosling. He's been all over the pitch. Harry Reid's going to nick that one away from Eunan O'Kane. Reid needs options. Mayuka is that. Mayuka on the left-hand side. Up against Simon Francis. Mayuka will play one. It's about 3 yards over the crossbar there. Not a bad effort from Emmanuel Mayuka. Still 1-0.
Good to see. Noticed it already in this game. Players seem to be having a few more efforts from outside the box. I know some fans were a little critical last year that as well as we passed the ball around, we tended to get to the edge of the area and stop and not actually take the shot on, almost try to pass the ball into net. But I think tonight we've seen already there's been a few shots from outside the area.
Ball goes out for a throw into Southampton on that far side. Jos Hooiveld doing well against Brett Pittman. The Jersey-born striker Brett Pittman. Fonte under no pressure at all, will just stride forward. Brings it over to Nathaniel Clyne. Stevens offers him. Jack Stevens. Harry Reid wanted the ball into his feet, but instead Jack Stevens goes across to Matt Targett. Emmanuel Mayuka manages to sort of toe poke that past Simon Francis, who's come on. Both Bournemouth's fullbacks have changed. Simon Francis is on at right back. Ian Hart is on at left back. That was part of the host of changes we saw about 5 minutes ago. Another one of them, Bailey Cargill, is on the ball now. Over to the veteran left back Ian Hart. Hart plays a lackadaisical ball into Jack Stevens. Stevens can now stride at the Bournemouth defence. Plays a nice ball over to Sam McQueen. It was well read though by Ian Hart, who was guilty of giving that ball away. Matt Targett advances well, just nudges Matt Ritchie in the back. and then does well to kind of get his body in the way of the ball to stop the Bournemouth taking the free kick quickly. Still 1-0. Just looking at the Southampton defence, Kelvin Davis and Jake Flannigan are the only two substitutes that haven't been used. Billy Sharp as well. So we're perhaps a couple more substitutions still open to Ronald Koeman if he wants to use them. As a Bournemouth player slips on the ball, it's Eunan O'Kane. It's going to fall to Jack Stevens on that far side. Good play by Matt Targett. Skips past Matt Ritchie and then wins the free kick. Here's Jose Fonte. Jack Cork. Comes over to Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne goes down the inside right, looking for Sam McQueen. Can he win anything? He can't. It's good defending by Ian Hart. And there will now be at least one, I think 2 substitutions for Bournemouth. They're putting the number 4 up. There's going to be Dan Gosling who's going to come off. And I think it's going to be Ben Whitfield, the youngster from the Bournemouth Academy, who's going to come on. He scored one of their goals against Dorchester on Saturday afternoon, did Ben Whitfield. He's going to come on, and we're also, I think, going to see Sam Matthews. Sam Matthews, who I mistakenly said came on just a moment ago. He is now on the pitch. He's replaced Eunan O'Kane. So a couple of youngsters being blooded for the final 10 minutes by Eddie Howe. This game still open. Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1. Jos Hooiveld wins the header. First touch from Matthews. Plays it into the unnumbered Ben Whitfield. Long ball forward. Not going to find anyone in a red and black shirt that. And it goes through to Artur Boruc. Hasn't really had any trouble in goal, Artur Boruc. He had one shot from Matt Ritchie earlier in the half that flew past his post, but no saves to make. Cargill will deal with that one. Plays it to Ian Hart, and they go back to the goalkeeper, who, as I mentioned earlier, is a little bit unorthodox. Matt Targett does really well to win the header against Sam Matthews. Matthews will, however, pick up the ball, but there's a free kick being given by the referee for a foul on Emmanuel Mayuka by Simon Francis. And it's going to be another...
Everyone's looking around now going, where's Prowse? Who's taking this one?
The answer is going to be Matt Targett. He's going to take this one. It's going to be a chance for Jos Hooiveld to go up into the box. So we're going to see what Matt Targett's delivery is like. Instead he goes short. Here's Harrison Reed. Targett back to Harrison Reed. Now here's Jack Stevens. 40 yards out. Stevens tries to play the ball through to Cork. Cleared away by Bournemouth. Only as far as Jose Fonte. Fonte to Nathaniel Clyne. Stevens. Gallagher. Gallagher turns his man. Comes out to Sam McQueen on this near side. McQueen might win a corner there. Indeed he does. This could be a corner to Southampton. Again, a chance for Jos Hooiveld to come up for the back. Jose Fonte is coming forward as well. Sam McQueen was practicing corners in Belgium with James Ward-Prowse last week, so let's see what he can do with this one. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinging corner from Sam McQueen from this near side. In it comes towards the far post. Bichelle comes and punches. Reed might get there. Comes back to Matt Targett. Targett hits a cross-field pass over to Sam McQueen. It's inch perfect, and McQueen comes through Ian Hart with the ball. And McQueen's still got the ball. He's nutmegged Artur. McQueen into the box, and the finish unfortunately wasn't lacking after he'd done the hard work. It has, however, got a deflection out for a corner.
Yeah, quite a little deflection off the last defender, looped up over the keeper and over the goal. And I think it will be Sam McQueen to take the corner over on the far side.
This one's going to be an outswinger with his left foot from Sam McQueen. Just showing a little bit of what he's about there. Sam McQueen with that mazy run. What's his corner like? This one's driven towards the near post and it's headed off by Pittman, and it's going to be another Southampton corner over on that far side. It was I think Jos Hooiveld going in with Pittman. And there's going to be another corner to Southampton. All of Bournemouth's 11 men inside the penalty area as Sam McQueen plays this one in towards the far post. Fonte can't get the header, and there was a foul given for a free kick for a foul on the goalkeeper.
To steal a phrase from the great Dave Merrington, what Saints really don't want to do now is concede. They've 1-0 up, comfortable so far, just get through the rest of this game. The last 5 or 6 minutes just finishes off with another 1-0 victory. Go into the Brighton game next Thursday.
And of course that clean sheet as well. Southampton haven't conceded a goal yet in pre-season. This will be the 4th consecutive game if they manage to hold on for the next 5 minutes. Fonte into Cork. Matt Targett, who hasn't put a foot wrong in this game so far, lifts the ball down the line looking for Sam Gallagher. Big season for Sam Gallagher. Of course, thrown into the action rather unexpectedly in late December last year and got his full Premier League debut against Arsenal at the end of January. This is a big season for him to kick on and will show everyone what he's about. Bichelle is going to have to race to get that one, and he does, and he just lays it out to Ian Hart. Clyne does well to put him under pressure. Jose Fonte is going to advance from centre-back. Fonte, a little bit of a rush of blood to the head, thinks better of it and goes back to Jack Stevens, who showed good awareness there to get back into the centre-back position. Jack Stevens, who of course spent the latter end of last season on loan at Swindon. Harry Reid being put under pressure by Harry Arter. Does well to keep the ball, Harry Reid. Boruc will play it over to Jack Stevens. Stevens lifts it forward to Cork. Cork hits a ball over to Mayuka, who unfortunately is offside. Shouldn't really be offside there when you're looking along the line, but free kick's given and Bournemouth will try to come forward. We've got 4 minutes of normal time to play here at the Goldsands Stadium. Lloyd Isgrove's 20th minute header separates the sides as Elphick launches the ball long, gives Pittman something to run onto. Pittman on the right corner of the penalty area, swivels on it, goes back to Simon Francis, the former Charlton man, can get to the byline, plays it in, and it's cleared by Stevens just at the second attempt. Jack Stevens kind of nudged it towards his own goal, and was able to clear it, thankfully, ahead of Artur Boruc. Cargill will keep the pressure on for Bournemouth. Lifts it over towards Simon Francis. Francis and Ritchie managed to win a free kick between them. And this is where Southampton just need to be a little bit careful. Not going to do anything stupid in the final few minutes of this game. They've been relatively comfortable so far. Matt Ritchie's 20-yard effort, about 5 minutes into the second half, the closest Bournemouth have come to a goal. Artur Boruc has set up a 2-man wall of Mayuka and Reid. And this is going to be whipped in by the left foot of Junior Stanislas, I think, or is it going to be Ian Hart? It's Ian Hart over on that far side. Hart's ball in towards the near post. It's flicked on by a Bournemouth player. It's Brett Pittman who's got it, but the offside flag has gone up over on that far side, and it won't count.
Taking the Bournemouth fans a little while to realise, but the linesman definitely has raised his flag for offside there.
Yep, the Bournemouth fans over in the north stand away to my right, still celebrating. But no, that goal has been chalked off. Ian Hart's free kick. Pittman's.
Fans have realised.
Oh, a few fans down to our right seem to have got a little bit excited about that goal. It has been chalked off. And now it's the Southampton fans in full voice because their side leads 1-0 going into the final 2 minutes of this pre-season friendly. Harry Arter. Here's Pittman. Pittman, who had that goal chalked off. Ball back. Sliced volley by, I think it's that Sam Matthews. Sam Matthews, the young Bournemouth development squad player. Sliced volley. Saw the headlines there. We're going to see...
just need to keep the heads a little bit and keep the ball a little bit better, Saints, in these last couple of minutes. Just get your feet on the ball. Keep it moving. Just see out the last couple of minutes of the game.
Mark Pugh has been given man of the match by the Bournemouth PA man. Boruc clears it long. Matthews can't bring that one under control. I suppose, Jordan, if you were to pick a Southampton man of the match out of the players who have played the majority of the game, who would you be looking at?
it's a tough one. I mean, I was very impressed with Pellè. I think I've mentioned a couple of times how well he's held the ball up, got in behind, and linked in with Dusan Tadić as well. But then at the same time, young Lloyd Isgrove's looked very good. So it could be one of those three, but I'd probably give it to Pellè.
Here's Jack Cork. Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne has an option outside him in McQueen. McQueen's ball towards the far post, a little bit heavy. Mayuka is offside again. I'd say it's hard to fault Matt Targett tonight. He's barely put a foot wrong. And
I agree with that.
When you're looking at young players who are looking to break into the side, Matt Targett has certainly done no harm to his ambitions tonight. Here he is on the ball, plays it through to Harrison Reed. Just turned a few too many times there, did Harrison Reed. Jack Stevens reads the play really well. But Bournemouth are going to pick it up. It's over on that right-hand side with Simon Francis. Back to Harry Arter. And now Elphick will come across to Bailey Cargill. We've got 4 minutes of added time. Ritchie. Simon Francis gives the ball to Ben Whitfield. Whitfield lets the ball run under his feet. Good retreating challenge from Brett Pittman. Harry Arter comes over to Ian Hart. Now back to Arter. Matthews loses the ball. Here's Sam Gallagher. Gallagher's given it away. Now Ritchie can drive forward. Ritchie has an option to his right, but Ritchie's going to shoot instead. Boruc was happy to just let that one go past his post.
And I think he's just pointing out the importance, just not to lose concentration this last minute or two.
So don't forget, Southampton next in action next Thursday night down at the Amex Stadium, taking on Brighton before Bayer Leverkusen visit St Mary's on Saturday the 9th of August. Gallagher's the target from Boruc's clearance. Elphick nods it across halfway. Fonte heads it back from where it came. Francis picks it up on that right-hand side. 29-year-old fullback plays it in towards Sam Matthews, who goes down. No foul given, and Matt Targett will just comfortably go back to Arter. Boruc. No messing around from Boruc in the 90th minute of this game. He looks for Sam McQueen. And a free kick's been given against Ian Hart. Sam McQueen adjudged to have been fouled. A chance just to ease the pressure off the Southampton defence a little bit. Jose Fonte's going to come across to take this free kick. Bournemouth next in action against Portsmouth on Tuesday night down at Fratton Park, before facing Premier League opposition again next Friday night. Swansea, the visitors to the Goldsands Stadium. Fonte lifts it forward. Gallagher's offside. Don't forget, Southampton's under-18s are in action over this weekend. They're on a training camp in Spain. You'll be able to follow all the action on Twitter, and full highlights will be on our YouTube channel as well. They face Villarreal on Sunday morning. That's a 9 AM kickoff local time. They then play Girona. That's on Wednesday night at 7 PM, and then Espanyol next Saturday. So a bit of a Spanish tour for our under-18 side, managed by Anthony Limbrick. That was announced earlier today. Here's Sam McQueen. Harrison Reed. Reed will bomb forward. He needs an option from Gallagher. Reed does well to hold it up and plays Nathaniel Clyne into the game. Clyne busting a gut to get down this right-hand side. Clyne's ball in towards the penalty spot, and it was almost a remarkable own goal from Harry Arter. Bichelle was able to gather it reasonably comfortably to his right.
Sliding in, it was almost going in the bottom corner.
Cargill goes across to Francis. And here the Southampton fans just become a bit more vocal away to our left. They'll be the ones going home happy if the score stays the same. Not too much longer left. We're into stoppage time. Here's Ian Hart. Harry Arter. Stanislas plays it back to Arter. That's an interesting ball from Sam Matthews, chested down by Stanislas. And the referee brings the game to an end. Southampton have indeed won their 4th consecutive pre-season match. They've done it once again without conceding. A Lloyd Isgrove goal after 20 minutes separates the two sides, and Jordan Ronald Coleman will go away very happy with that.
Yeah, I think he'll be the first to tell you that we could have perhaps had a few more goals, but at this stage of pre-season it's about getting people back up to full fitness. Artur Boruc had the full 90, Jose Fonte, Nathaniel Clyne, and also the impressive Matt Targett all made it through 90 minutes, so that'll be a big positive, as was the yet another clean sheet.
That's all from here at the Goldsands Stadium. Southampton have beaten Bournemouth by 1-0. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you soon.